World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the universe now with the best hair, and welcome to Live and Wired Anniversary Edition. That's right, we're just going to re-release the whole series, but charge you again, full price.
Yeah, we were thinking about having a glorified clip show, just looking back on our fondest memories, but we realized that it would be a cheap shot, so we're not going to rely on stock footage for this. So you're welcome, everybody.
So yes, joining as always, you have Patricia Miranda.
Hey, everybody.
And, of course, that long-haired creepy guy.
New year, new start, same old crap.
Oh, crap, my old crap. Just a second.
Yeah, what he said. So, yeah, while Decker is doing that, I think one of the things that we can start off with is thank you so much for sticking us through our 1-year anniversary. We have conquered at least over 20-something episodes, and we've had our fair share of craziness.
Ow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there we go. We're just starting off with a bang, aren't we?
So, yeah.
Same quality that we had last year.
Oh, wait a minute.
And okay, so continuing with that, I asked you guys on Twitter recently about what have been your favorite moments of Live and Wired from the past year, and I
have a clean house.
Is that even English that he was speaking, Patricia, just now? I'm not sure.
So, it's been a fun day. I finished the script for the review yesterday, actually.
Oh, nice.
And I was going to film it today, but it actually was so hectic I couldn't. Well, maybe I could, but then I would have probably been even later to get things started over here. So,
anyway, I was just about to read off.
Gaming dropped $2 and says, "Please show my masterpiece I made on Twitter." I believe that's the little art that was heart attack.
Tonight on Live and Wired, someone dies again.
Oh, if I can find, there's so many notifications. Oh man, so many things, so many. Oh god, I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, that's someone vomiting up bloody worms. I get the greatest gifts on my Twitter. Okay. It was a while ago. I'm looking. It's got a little bit of time.
Oh man.
Scrolling down. We're back in December. Yeah, we are. There's more gifts. Okay, let's just talk about the show while we're doing this. So it's the first show of the year.
Yes, it is the first show of the year, and I recently asked on Twitter about what were their favorite moments of the show so far, and we did get a handful of people talking about theirs on Twitter. At Jay Ferdston, who says, "My favorite moment was the hot sauce. Okay, I'm a Chili Head and Hot Ones fan, but if you ever want me to gift you the bomb, just DM me the address. I say gift in quotes because the sauce is true evil in liquid form."
I've seen Hot Ones, and I know Da Bomb. I've seen enough people who I greatly respect, like Alton Brown. If you know anything about food and Alton Brown, he probably knows his way around some hot sauce, and he had some things to say. He didn't say such great things about the flavor, if I remember right, but it did have the heat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alton Brown, when it comes to like flavors, he's very on key with his particular favorites, and I wouldn't be surprised he has that way about hot sauce.
Wasn't he on Iron Chef?
Oh yeah, he was on Iron Chef America, like the second attempt at an Iron Chef America.
Right, yeah.
The first attempt of Iron Chef America, because although technically there was kind of like a pilot, / pitch, it didn't really get off the ground until like the American version. But
the one where William Shatner was the chairman.
Yes, you remember that?
And he just kind of came down while everyone's trying to work. He's just taking their food.
I remember that one. Oh my god! Like. I mean, I have no idea what he has to do with food, but like seriously, like what the hell? But no, Alton Brown was He was kind of like the correspondent.
Some.
Go ahead.
Lazarus Soul 82 says Liam Neeson, Mr. Plow memes. on the favorite memories of Live and Wired, I guess.
Yes.
Or most terrifying. I'm not sure. I missed a lot of the chat.
Yeah, we have another one from Simon David Fisher on Twitter, who said that his favorite was the E3 coverage with Teddy Ruxpin.
That was a lot of fun. I didn't assume that Teddy Ruxpin was going to stick around the whole time. We went on for quite a while on that. We go on for quite a while on a lot of these.
Longest episode.
Yeah.
It's enough to actually have almost a running joke about how my fiance gets a little tired of how long I spend in here locked away, except it's not a joke.
Yeah, and let's see. Finally, last but not least, was from Largo621, who says, "Creepy's continued terror regarding Chucky entertains me to no end."
Of course, everyone is amused by my horror and terror, of course.
Yeah.
The Real Glow Dice says their favorite was when the chat episode, the chat exploded with all the Predator jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was funny.
What's this?
Oh my god. Okay, Epic Jason X9000 said that my man voice was certainly one that they liked. Remember when my microphone just pretty much it short-circuited on me, and then it turned out like this man voice, and then I had to reset my microphone because apparently it made me sound like it, which I listened to it and it's like, oh my god, it's like, who is that?
Somebody made a video about you, and there's a link to Rick Astley.
Oh,
thank you. I love YouTube so much.
Yes, absolutely.
that's some of the good memories of YouTube right there. So I'm not real. It's like it's a Rickroll. Isn't that nostalgic?
I'm surprised there aren't more people who brought up the time with John Massari.
Oh yes, John Massari. That was a fun one, that for sure.
I mentioned that on Twitter, and my mention of that got liked by John Massari. So hey.
Nice. Yeah, we actually found out some things that wouldn't be like announced until months later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was the famous the concert, the music from Killer Clowns from Outer Space was being performed concert style for.
That was is it a live to film concert? They're playing the movie, and they have a full orchestra right there with Mr. Massari with his little composer stick composing. The whole orchestra is like, okay, here's the clown march. Well, there it is. Fucking did it. It's awesome.
Yes.
How is it that you can tell me about like the periodic table of elements and like how like the science of the internet, but but like you don't know the name of a conductor's baton?
Anyway, Anthony Hudak mentions that Dead Meat also did a podcast with Massari.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have an interesting comment coming in from Epic Jason X9000, who says, what video games are you looking forward to in 2019? I'm looking forward to Mortal Kombat 11, a new Samurai Showdown, Doom Eternal, and the new Battletoads.
There's nothing really that I've just... Most of everything that I was really waiting for, like, that's coming, is already out. Because I've just waited through a whole year. Everything just comes in December, and then they wait, like, summer is like, well, screw it. No one needs video games during the summer. And then they'll start ramping it up during the summer about stuff that's going to come out in that December. But one that I can think of off the top of my head would be EDF Iron Rain.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's just kind of like a follow-up to Insect Armageddon, which is considered the shitty EDF, and for good reason. It is the shitty EDF, but I still found the gameplay fun enough. It was still more enjoyable than a lot of the things I play. It's still gameplay focused, even though it spends a whole lot of time with characters trying to be serious about an alien invasion, and all the enemies are smaller, and the hordes are less, but the frame rate's good. But who cares about that in EDF?
Yeah. There's one that I've been hearing a lot about, and that is, and I think it's something we're going to be talking about later. Bloodstained, I think, is the name of it, and it's supposed to have been worked on by the same guy who did the Castlevania games, especially
Yes.
early Castlevania games.
Yes, that would be Igarashi. He did a Kickstarter for a spiritual successor. I can talk for Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and that is as you said before, it is Bloodstained.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a $5 comment from that guy who doesn't leave us a comment, but still, nonetheless, thank you so much, that guy.
Thank you very much, that guy. Also, Don Achtenberg says, Decker, did you know that Michael Gross signed on to make a new Tremors movie, #Tremors7? And yes, thanks to Patricia, I do.
Yes, we did discuss about that in the last episode of Live and Wired.
But also, what was it? I wanted to talk about
Michael, and we also were like talking about how is his name pronounced?
Yeah,
like
Gross,
Mikhail Gross. So yeah, we did talk about that.
Maybe it's an S set, like it's like shaped like a B with a thing, which is pronounced, but let's just say Grob.
Sure.
But anyway, it's January 5th, very early in the year, and I was wondering, because it is the new year, 2019. Let's pretend the past never happened, and therefore we can make resolutions to improve ourselves because the past did happen, and we gotta kind of fix that. It's a bit of a interesting little tradition. Just thinking about it, there's nothing really to do in New Year's except get really drunk and watch things blow up, and then say I'm going to be a better person now.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's why it's the New Year's resolution, because that way on New Year's Eve you can still get shit-faced, even if your resolution is to stop doing that.
Right. I resolve to stop drinking and partying so much, and since it's New Year's Eve and it hasn't happened yet, I'm gonna get drunk off my ass.
And I'd like to mention that I do have a sort of resolution. I don't know if you call it a resolution, because I didn't wait until New Year's to say, now I'm going to start trying this. I was like, okay, I need to improve this about myself. I'm going to start doing it. Oh, it's the middle of December? I guess that's my New Year's resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And that's personally to drink less. It's not that I was a drunk or anything, but I did have evening beer. And like, after an evening beer every day of the week, I'm just like, okay, this is starting to get in the way of my editing, my scripting, anything else that I intend to do. It's, even though it's just one beer at the night, it still messes with my productivity. So I'm like, I'm going to cut back. I'm not saying no alcohol ever, because it's like, okay, New Year's, I drank.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a New Year's resolution. Did I drink any? I think I might have drank like a little bit since then. I don't know. It wasn't that much. It was just because my fiance didn't finish her drink, and instead of pouring it down the sink, I was like, okay, I'm going right to bed.
Crap with this, by the way.
Thoughts of John Cena as an actor? I mean, isn't that just a waste of film? He's just like, damn it, where is he? Wasn't he the bad guy in Bird Box?
I don't know. I didn't see the movie.
That was a meme anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be talking about John Cena later in the show.
But I was wondering, Creepy, Patricia, do either of you have any kind of New Year's resolutions? Or just anything that you'd like to work on? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. For me, I like to continue to do better as a student, since I just went back to school, and I am planning on just focusing full time as a student, and hopefully that I continue to do well with my grades, and at the same time put in a little bit more time into my channel, because I kind of dropped the ball for 2018. It was very hard for me. The first half of 2018 was, let's just say it wasn't a very good one. I struggled a lot. I was going through a severe depression, and I had to go through therapy, and I was miserable with my life. And then the second half was, it was getting a little bit better. I moved, from Florida to Alabama. I went to school again, and, started focusing on school and hoping that things would get better. And it did. And I'm hoping that things will continue to be that way, that I can work hard in getting my bachelor's degree and, hopefully that things will start continuing to look up. And, for my channel, hopefully more videos, because I only did 2 in 2018 as opposed to my average of maybe 10 or 12. So I'm just hoping that things get better. So yeah, your turn, Creepy.
As for me, I had completely forgotten that New Year's resolutions were even a thing anymore. Seriously, I think there was one point sometime, as December was coming to a close, where I thought to myself, oh yeah, people have New Year's resolutions. They do that. And then, literally 5 seconds later, my brain skipped to a different thought, and I went with that one. And and it wasn't until Decker brought it up, right before the show started, that I was like, oh yeah, I was supposed to that, wasn't I?
Yeah, it's like that. It's like a homework assignment in which you just figured it out 5 minutes ago before you have to turn it into the teacher, and you're just scribbling, and you're making sure that you can do it decently, hoping that you'll get at least a C+.
Right. Well, there is one thing that I had resolved to do this year. It's Decker and I had talked about this privately, and I don't know. Is it okay if we share this on Live and Wired?
You're speaking in vagueness, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, I'll just assume that's a yes, and if it turns out that it wasn't, well, at least people watching will be amused when you get angry at me.
Okay.
I actually resolved to help Decker get reviews.
No!
So that's not really self-improvement for me. I mean, it's me we're talking here, so why bother? But I did resolve to help Decker get reviews out more on time in the hope that he gets one, more than just one a month done. So,
I get more than one a month most months.
Yeah. So I was, he has, like you said, he did finish the script. He hasn't filmed yet, but he did finish the script. So, and I have been nagging him on a regular basis to do more. So,
yeah.
So your New Year's resolution is to help Decker more?
My New Year's resolution is to help Decker more and get paid for it.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that brings up the Twitter poll. Well,
yay!
One of the Twitter polls. There's a lot of topics on it, and I figured there's all kinds of stuff going on, so may as well just keep doing all the stuff. So I'm figuring multiple polls today. So let's start this early, because otherwise it's just going to be a big clusterfuck. And poll 1 is, who has the best New Year's resolution? In alphabetical order. Creepy, Decker, Patricia, or they all suck. 30 minutes starting now on Twitter at Decker Shado.
Yes, and as always, I will share it in the chat.
I'm waiting for people to vote D.
Yep. I expected a lot of people are going to be voting D on the other Twitter polls, but we'll get to that later.
True.
Alrighty, so moving back over so I can see the chat. Yay! Okay, so then. Yeah, what was that? The talking of the thing about things with stuff? I can't remember what the topic was.
We were talking about some of our favorite moments of Live and Wired. We brought up John Massari. We were reading off some of the...
There's the hot sauce, which I have more hot sauce.
Yeah, the hot sauce one.
It's not the insane hot sauce, so I don't think it's going to be as fun for you. I'm like, that's got a nice little thing to it. No one wants to see that. They want to see, I have made so many mistakes in my life.
Oh, no. You're not going to talk. If you talked like Elmer Fudd in the last one, I swear you're probably just going to be talking like a guy with marbles with the hot sauce.
Oh, God. Omega Gaming dropped $5 saying, hey, Decker, I at you on my masterpiece. Shiz out in 5 minutes. Please, the world needs to see this mess. So I guess that was on Twitter. He added me.
Okay.
I got the notifications. Let's see. Is it here?
While you do that, I will take a look at the other $5 comment that we got.
Okay. Oh, there we go.
Okay, so from John Horn, who says, FYI, yesterday was
This is back on Christmas. I'm going to send this to you, Patricia.
Okay. FYI, yesterday was Ed and Neddie's 20th anniversary. 'Twas my favorite cartoon growing up. Can I get an amen? Amen.
And, yeah. Like,
Even though personally I've never seen it, but yeah, sure. If you definitely like the
Oh my! You're laughing at something, and I have no idea what it is.
No. It's this picture. This picture is glorious. Look at this.
Okay.
The summer of glitter vampires. This is beautiful.
Is that me in the background?
Yes.
That's me in the background.
Next to EB. Oh boy.
Beautiful. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Ah.
Okay, now we're getting a lot of amens, but I'm pretty sure that's about Ed and Eddie, not about Summer of Glitter Vampires.
Sure.
But there's a lot of comments about that too.
Mm-hmm. I didn't watch a lot of Ed and Eddie. I mostly just caught like the occasional episode when I was flipping through channels. It wasn't something that I like looked out for. I do remember finding this really interesting YouTube video that someone made earlier this year. I think it was earlier this year. I found it this year anyway. And it postulated the idea that Ed and Eddie actually takes place in purgatory.
Huh. Oh, no, take the classic little children's thing and say it's actually got dark things because you see, if you look at it through the right lens, that person's already dead, and that person is suicidal, and that person, well, you see, they always leave the toilet seat up.
Right.
So, Decker, what do you think people would say, like, if they caught, like people 20, 30 years in the future, if they catch Live and Wired episodes, what do you think that conclusions they'll draw from
This
that?
is already a dark and horrifying nightmare world we live in.
Yeah, people are going to be coming up with
this. Lights just flickered.
And now Decker has the power to warp reality. We should all be very, very afraid right now.
Okay, that guy dropped $5 saying I would donate more, but this is because this is my favorite channel. But I spent most of my money. By the way, I'm still waiting for the shark themed summer special.
Oh, cool.
So,
and we did get a $2 donation from Clever Channel Names, so thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much. Yes. Gratitude.
Yes.
Domo arigato.
I know how to human.
We've been working at it for a while now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
John Ratsey's asking, does Decker have the reality stone inside him?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh boy. So yeah, what else?
Let's see what else. If I can think of anything else.
Ed and Eddie's 20 years. I think that was an article.
Yeah, I personally never seen the show, so I can't really say too much about it.
I do one other Live Wired moment very quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
The one where Patricia was absent for most of it.
Oh yeah, which one was it? Was it when I was moving, or was it when I was working on that production that I couldn't really say at the time?
I just know that for the first half you were like completely going, and then you came in for 5 minutes.
Okay, that was probably when I was working on my production, yeah. I was actually working on a TV production at the time because my school was filming a huge concert for Christmas, and I was a gaffer, so I wasn't available at the time. So I really am sorry that I couldn't make it. Yeah. But as for when I was moving, oh my God, that was a disaster. I don't even want to talk about that anymore.
Okay, we got a couple of super chats. Excalibur GG11 dropped $2 saying, "Hey Decker, love the content. Thank you very much." White Girl Blackwash the Field White Guilt dropped £5 saying, "Hey Decker, can you please review Life's a Jungle and Cool Cat Saves the Kids and Baby Geniuses?" And I'm not entirely sure what Life's a Jungle is, but the other two I know they're not really the kinds of movies that I usually go for. So on the one hand, I'm like, well, I'm not as knowledgeable about what would be considered great there. And there's also the fact that review Cool Cat Saves the Kids, welcome copyright claims. But then again, review anything and welcome copyright claims. But yeah, so I don't know, but it's not necessarily off the table. And Master Will Guitar dropped £5 saying, "Thanks for all the great reviews, sir. You are, as they say, the man."
Oh,
Thank you. I'm the man. That's
Cool.
a compliment. I like compliments and money. But
but compliments are, they're very good too.
Decker should review all the Transformers movies, says Jaden Herrera. Yeah, those do fall more under my repertoire, but at the same time, I know past the first, I'm like, no. And it's like, I know I'm going to be in for a bit of a nightmare time.
Yeah.
You can still find nuance and difference between them. There's still, even when I'm reviewing stuff where I'm pretty sure going forward it's just going to not be an enjoyable time. Like, say, with the Hellraiser series, after the second, or after the third, really, the fourth had some good points, too. The second, third, and fourth kind of had different versions of not the greatest, not quite as good as the original. But past the fourth, it was just, holy fuck, what did I get myself into? But each movie was considerably different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
123784444 games drops $2 saying, "How's existence, guys? P.S. Sandwiches will be reborn. The sequel to sandwiches."
Actually, I have a sandwich in the refrigerator right now. I ate half of it before the show started, so I have a sandwich.
Don Achtenberg dropped $5 saying, "You pronounced my last name right, Decker, and I hope I did it that time too. Thank you. Would you consider a Marvel Cinematic Universe summer special?" And would I?
It's funny you should mention that.
Consideration might be had for those that consider things.
Yeah. Assuming Decker, spends more than like 5 seconds.
Nerdbane says, "We say heck razor in this Christian household."
Is the Christian household run by Nightcrawler by any chance? Like the X-Men animated series version of the character who only talks about God?
Oh my God. You know what? It's funny that you mentioned that, Creepy, because I had completely forgotten about that when that Nightcrawler Once Upon a Time was not like officially part of the team at that point, because he was busy, focusing on God.
Right.
And he was a priest. Because I've been watching Wolverine and the X-Men, and I was watching a little bit of X-Men Evolution because I wanted to get to Heroic Gem or Junk eventually. But when I finished watching Wolverine and the X-Men, I was like, crap, I feel like there's something I'm missing. So I had to watch the X-Men animated series, then X-Men Evolution, which I've never seen until recently. Then I had to watch the X-Men movies just so I can actually piece everything together. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to probably save that as like a season finale, and I'll focus on Cyber 6 instead. But yeah, I think that the fact that, Once Upon a Time that, he was a priest for God, it's like, it was very interesting. I mean, I'm sure that it would have made a very interesting storyline, but I think that back then it was kind of limited.
Yeah, it was just weird because, for one thing, we reviewed Chibi Thulu and I reviewed the
real quick, don't mean to interrupt, but we got 3 super chats real fast. Omega Gaming dropped $5 saying, "The Hellraiser series is a lot like First Time Sex. Starts off good, gets real good, and becomes a whole lot of what the fuck then after couples." Savage Tiger dropped $20 saying, "Writers on strike. Insert witty dialogue here." Blank. And Jack Brand dropped
I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. We will not type anymore.
Jack Brand dropped $5 saying, "Say, Decker, when are you doing the Summer of Kevin Spacey cinematic universe?" That guy dropped $1. No comment. Thank you very much. Appreciate. Gratitude.
1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 4, 4, 4 games donated $2 saying, "Decker, that is not a sandwich. How could you?"
I just realized you haven't said his name out like full length very often. It's just me. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 4, 4 games.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't speak very fast.
No worries. It's just he tells me I can call him numbers, but I'm like, I can't call him numbers. Like, I know someone else whose name is Numbers.
Yeah. But I mean, we can call it a deconstructed sandwich. If there's bread in there with meats and cheeses, then we can make it count.
You
If
know,
you squint really
technically
hard.
speaking, a burrito is a tortilla, which is made of the same stuff as bread, just put together in a slightly different way. It's still got the meats and the cheeses in there, and you still hold the tortilla to not get your hand dirty.
Yeah, that's a technical sandwich, you know.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
But we were on something. I could just like what were we talking about before?
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler, right? Well, we got another super. Okay.
Oh crap! No, Aaron, what have you done?
Yeah. Aaron Hex says, drop $20, says, hey, Creepy, this gives you the power to torture Decker with any movie, and he must sit and review it. Actually, I have a movie in my... I already sent Decker one movie. For those of you who don't know, I sent him Atlantic Rim, and yes, I am going to make sure that we review it.
Yes, I got it right here.
Yeah.
Yay.
But a couple of years ago, they came out with a new live-action Cutie Honey movie as well. So I'm wondering if I should get that one as well for us.
Oh, God. A white girl blackwash a field, white guild dropped 5 pounds saying, hey, Decker, when are you going to do the summer of Harvey Weinstein and Jimmy Savile and Jared Fogle, Cinematic Universe? This is just going in a great direction here. Let's move on. Wonderful start to the year we got.
I think more than anything, people just want to see Decker suffer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And 12378 games dropped $2 saying, I'll allow this. Also call me Devere, my real name. Devere. That's a cool name. What's with the 1237844 games?
Oh, well, thank you very much for that.
Omega Gaming got $5 and said, welcome to the summer of... Whoops, went by too fast. Welcome to the summer of Super Chat. First person to drop a $500 Super Chat gets to pick the next review.
Oh, boy. Colonel Scramble drops 20 Donkey Kong coins. What movies are y'all looking forward to in 2019? Oh, I gotta check to see what's coming. I got a car now. I can drive. I did so much in 2018 except for driving around to the theater, but I drove around a lot. I'm a lot better at driving than I used to be. It didn't hurt the fact that when I had to go see The Predator, it was raining like crazy. It was pouring, and you couldn't see on the highway. And people were seriously going like 35 miles an hour on the highway because it was just, you could not see. So yeah, that was a fun little... I just barely got my license and I'm driving through this.
Decker is new to the idea that it can rain when he drives, so bear with him, everybody.
Yeah, wait till he sees, what happens when it snows.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I got to worry about that all too much.
Hey, people didn't think that it would snow in Texas, and and then a few years ago there was a freaking blizzard.
That's what I mean by don't worry too much. It still allows for a little bit of worry in there. Just not enough to be like, oh my God, I better get a set of snow tires just in case. No, I don't need to. I just need to plan around if something big actually happens, which will probably be several years from now.
Yeah, I guess so. So I think that, skipping off the Nightcrawler stuff.
Okay. The way the chats cut that comment up is Rocket said, Decker, you are a natural horror movie. And then it cut there. I'm like, what? And then there's a second line, review master. Like, oh, horror movie review master. Oh, thank you. That's very nice. Very nice. Not a lot nicer than I thought it was.
I don't know. I don't think they're entirely wrong.
No, they're not exactly.
What kind of car do I drive? Chevy Cobalt LT Coupe in manual transmission, 5-speed.
Well, I want to talk about one of my favorite moments in for Live and Wire this year. So I remember like our shock and just absolute stunness when I found this interesting article discussing about how Steven Seagal became the ambassador for the U.S. and Russia.
Oh yeah,
most anticipated movies. Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't.
Oh yeah, that's right. Most anticipated movies of 2019.
I still got to see what's. There's nothing that's really been. It's like with games, I just kind of wait until the ads start rolling in. Then I'm like, oh, that's something I really want to see. Like, I haven't really been following like the Marvel movies too much. I actually caught like what was it, Avengers 2, like a little bit of it on Netflix, and I was just like, it's the first. Like, I haven't seen the vast majority of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so drop in there, and I'm looking at it like, this is a movie. Nothing's on the screen. No, there's a person there, but all the rest of that's CGI, and yeah, that's CGI. No, that's an effect. Okay, they got another guy who's actually not CGI. What? Huh? Okay, so yeah, they have fights. All right. Okay. I guess these are the Guardians of the Galaxy now. Huh. I seriously did not get it. I think it's need to watch the rest of it to really be like, oh, this is so cool and that's nice, that's awesome. And I'm just like, okay, things are blowing up and people are fighting, right? That guy's green.
Hector's not up on his comic book lore. I have a lot to teach him. Or maybe lock him in the room with Yama for about 8 hours or so. And
only you and Yama can help him out. You are our sensei, Creepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just lock him in a room with Yama for about 8 to 12 hours, and then, it's like he won't get bathroom breaks or food. I'll just have to slowly dispense crackers into a bowl.
Annabelle Lee says, remember when they saw cabin fever as a kid? They were so afraid to drink water and instead drank juice/soda. And I'm thinking, those bastards, that's what they did. They instilled into our children's minds the idea that you can't even drink water. You must buy the stuff from the store, and the water's more expensive than the sugar water.
Yes. And so the true wars begins. Pepsi versus Coke. It's not about, if humanity is going to survive the zombies. No. It's about the soda wars. Those are going to be massive.
And Epic Jason X9000 says, think that once the Lion King remake comes out, you should review the superior film, Jungle Emperor Leo. And that is an idea.
Yeah.
I mean, we've looked at Japanese films and Japanese animation before. Okay, so we got a $20 super chat from Savage Tiger 13 saying, while I'm thinking about it, I'll check out the 2012 remake of Silent Night. I was watching your Friday the 13th reviews again, and remembered that the movie had a scene with a naughty young lady and a wood chipper. Ah, yes.
Okay.
It was after I complained about in the Friday the 13th, 2009.
Right. There were no wood
the fact they had a wood chipper,
mm-hmm.
and it was just not used.
There were no wood chipper
used. A little. They had a wood chipper. It's like, oh, well, they choked Jason, and the chain went into the wood chipper, and he got pulled towards the wood chipper, and then it like scratched his head a bit, and that's it. It stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what?
Yes. We want Jason to turn into ragu. We want him to turn into vermicelli.
That would be the way it worked. That would be the twist. You see, that would be the way you think this one ends. It's like you see Jason just turn into just goo, and it's like, oh my god, there's no way you can come back from that. Next year, the next movie comes out, you see that goo flew, and it flew right onto someone's spaghetti, and he didn't know what was going on. He just thought it was. So he eats it. Next thing you know, it's like Friday the 13th. Jason goes to hell. Suddenly, that guy's Jason.
Very true. Very true.
And the Necronomicron is somehow involved.
Yep.
Goes forth, kills the right people, and gets his body back. I don't know. It just screw it. You can't kill Jason.
Yeah. We have a $2 comment from Aaron Heck who says Dale and Tucker versus Evil.
Yes, that was another common mention after I complained about the lack of a wood chipper kill in that movie. That's another one with wood chipper kills.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yes, we have topics.
Yes, we do.
Topical.
Very topical, very much so. So celebrating the new year, we do have our usual amazing crap that we have to cover of what's going on in the world. Yeah. So I guess because we did discuss about John Cena in the last couple of minutes, I guess we can start off with that. So, yeah, believe it or not, John Cena wants to have this happen in a movie. So let me just pull it up real quick.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Got it.
You do?
Yes, I do have it. So
I don't see it.
give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. John Cena wants a Transformers and G.I. Joe team up. Because that's what we want, right? We want crossovers based off of movies that people are getting sick and tired of.
Yay!
Yay! The new Transformers movie, Bumblebee, is seeming to giving fans of the franchise hope that a new era is on the way, one that leans heavier on the beloved Transformers G1 era of the original cartoon series. However, there is another...
The chat. No! No! Mother of God! No!
Oh, don't you love it? That's what gives me joy at night. I just feed off of your sadness and your disappointment. However, there is another event from Transformers lore that fans have wanted to see adapted for the screen, a crossover between Hasbro's Transformers and G.I. Joe franchises. Well, Bumblebee star John Cena is endorsing the idea of there being a Transformers/G.I. Joe movie, and let that fact be known in a recent interview. I might have been the one that started that fire, Cena told Cinema Blend. Don't look into any more than a fan who would be enjoying it. I think you have these two-story franchises that, especially because of the way this one was written, damn near rubbed against each other. And I think it would be really cool in the days of big franchise universe to see these things collide and coexist on the same screen. What is especially great about this isn't John Cena campaigning to get a Transformers/G.I. Joe movie. It's Cena effectively finding a back door to potentially cast himself in the G.I. Joe movie franchise. If you don't get how that works, in Bumblebee, Cena plays Jack Burns, an agent of the earlier version of Sector 7, the top secret government agency which handles matters like alien invasions of Earth. If you saw Michael Bay's Transformers movie, you remember that Sector 7 as the government squad that John Turturro's and Agent Simmons runs. Cena's Jack Burns becomes one of the active pursuers of Bumblebee when he's discovered on Earth and soon gets caught up in a conflict between the noble Autobots and the insidious Decepticons. Subsequent sequels in Bay's line of Transformers movies expanded the Sector 7 role in a secret organization that has been operating since the World War II era. They're involved in key events in Transformers/human shared history, including the moon landing. Given that G.I. Joe movies have firmly established a peacekeeping military organization that has an extensive history beyond the two films that we got, it wouldn't be hard to envision a piece of history in which G.I. Joe was either tapped by or partnered with Sector 7 in order to investigate some kind of Transformers incident on Earth. How about you, fans? Are you still hoping for this Transformers/G.I. Joe movie to happen? And would you like to see someone like John Cena in it? Let us know in the comments. And everybody's saying, no, 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 no.
Where the hell G.I. Joe remake? There's no, all the no's. No, kill it with fire. I do have Jason X9000 saying that the only quote-unquote good Transformers movie is the animated one from 1986.
Mm-hmm. I approve of this. I also have one question for you, for the both of you and everybody else out there. Where does Gem and the Holograms fit into all of this? Because Gem and the Holograms is owned by Hasbro, and so is G.I. Joe and Transformers.
So we have to have a Transformers G.I. Joe Gem crossover.
Here's what's going to happen.
It's just not good.
While they're having their huge fight, they're going to play a Gem and the Hologram song in the middle of a montage. And then maybe like one of the kids' daughters is going to be watching My Little Pony in the background. So maybe we could just have like some more advertisement. And then maybe like somebody's playing Battleship, because we need to get some more Hasbro stuff in there. So there you go. Yes, we're going to have a Hasbro cinematic universe because everybody wants one.
And Aaron Heck says, kill Gem and the Holograms with hellfire!
Speaking of which, I'll go ahead and spoil this for everybody who's listening. I get invited to be on Diva's Musical Hell channel very soon. Chibi Thulu and I both. We are going to be reviewing the live-action Gem and the Holograms movie.
Oh, joy.
Oh, great. Anthony Hudak says, talk about the alternative endings of The Predator to piss Decker off. You had a couple. I saw them. I saw the titles, and I'm already not looking forward to getting details about this. It's like, hey, you know how this movie, it really shat all over the series that it's part of? But how about it shits all over series that it's only vaguely kind of related to as well? Series that you like. Yay. Yay.
Why? Whoopie-doo-doo. But yes, if any of you guys would like.
I think my brain is already starting to melt.
Diane Ikehatan says, Decker after the Predator was flat out fucking scary. Yeah, that is a thing. My fiance says, you know what? If we have kids, you really, really need to cut that down a bit because you are going to scar these little bastards for life.
I think just the idea of Decker with kids enough is kind of terrifying.
Oh my god. $2 from Aaron Heck. Gem and the Holograms crossover equals John Cena as Gem. Yes!
Well,
it's Gem Cena!
Dun, 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 dun.
He would have access to
truly outrageous. It is John Cena as Gem. Dun, 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 dun. He is super fabulous. Okay, I'm done.
Oh God! Anthony Hudak says he catches those kids watching The Predator. Get back to find my kids. They're home from school and they're sitting there with their mother and they're watching The Predator, and I'm just like, okay.
Or imagine if Decker's kids tell him that they prefer the Nightmare on Elm Street movies to Friday the 13th.
Oh, you.
Careful now.
This kid's gonna have to learn.
well,
they end up preferring to watch all the old TV shows that I review on my channel instead of watching the movies that you like.
Yes, indeed. But if you think that all this talk about Predator is pretty irrelevant, other than just to make Decker angry, oh no, you're sadly mistaken, my friends. We've only gone so far into the bottom of the barrel that it just so happens that it apparently once upon a time would have been a lot worse, because they just revealed some two crucial features about what they wanted to add it into the Predator that would have just completely screwed up the continuity in the franchise.
You mean
more? Yes, much more. So apparently, according to the AV News, the Predator was going to have a cameo with Ellen Ripley from Alien.
Because that doesn't, it's not questionable at all that she won't be born yet for another century at least.
Yeah, but they were going to find a way. They would find a way. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead, Creepy.
I wonder who's going to have the fun of reading this one.
Creepy will read this one. I want you to read the next one, Decker.
Oh, the next one's even better. Oh, great.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Creepy.
I saved this one's just for you.
Have fun, Creepy. Enjoy. I'll stay quiet-ish.
Oh, don't worry. I got you something even better, Decker. So go ahead, Creepy.
Years. Shane Black's The Predator wasn't great, and its epitomous...
Oh, wait. I do have good news.
What?
The first Live and Wired poll has concluded.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Who has the best New Year's resolutions? Out of 36 votes, 39% have said yours truly. Though I'm pretty sure, considering it was done on my own Twitter, it's probably an unfair advantage. It might have altered the. It might have affected the spread a bit. Coming in at a close second, 36%. They all suck.
Well, at least we kind of knew that we were on our path to failure.
And 19% for Creepy, and coming in at 6%, Patricia. I was expecting a little more. I was impressed by Patricia's
Yeah.
resolution. Not so much by creepies, because it's like none.
Well, I mean, his resolution was to help you with get more videos, and since
Yeah,
it's your
but
channel, I guess
know.
I don't know.
But anyway,
Oh, anyway, continue, creepy.
drink slightly less wins.
Shane Black's The Predator wasn't great. No shit. And its eponymous alien absolutely could not have killed John Wick, but it sounds like we dodged a super weird bullet with an alternate ending when an alternate ending was scrapped after being shot. In the version of the film that was released, the ending involves some of the surviving characters pulling some cargo from a crashed predator ship, with the biggest trophy being a transforming predator killer suit that would have presumably put mankind on equal footing with the ugly motherfuckers if Black ever got a chance to make a sequel.
Okay,
Now-
we got a couple super chats. 1237844 Games says he's gonna flip after this. Everyone to the bunker. And Motorcycle US dropped $2 saying, "Creepy. What if your kids love the Child's Play series?"
Aww.
It wouldn't be too terribly shocking. It seems like the sort of thing that would happen.
Okay.
He'd
Fair
just be
enough.
there like, of course.
Yeah.
It's my life. Of course they love Child's Play.
Now, according to special effects artist Yuri Everson, the crew shot 3 different versions of the ending that all involved different predator killers that would have been in the pod. Everson says, along with photographic proof that you can see below, that one of the variations would have featured the humans opening up some kind of pod to reveal none other than Alien series protagonist Ellen Ripley, with her face conveniently covered by a Wayland Yutani branded breathing mask that was designed to look like one of the face huggers from Alien. The mask was apparently modified on set to make it look less like a face hugger.
Continue.
It's well established that the Predator and Alien movies take place in the same universe, but the problem with this is that the Predators takes place on present-day Earth, while Ellen Ripley isn't even born until 2092. That means that The Predator sequel that followed this scrapped ending required the introduction of time travel and some kind of justification for why dedicated xenomorph killer Ellen Ripley had suddenly become a yacht killer. Help me out here.
I have no idea how to pronounce it, to be honest. It appears in novels and comics. They've never said it in film.
Okay.
Predator killer, whatever.
Predator killer. Okay, yeah, we'll go with that one. Okay. Meanwhile, this reveal also possibly gave us a hint of what Black was planning with the cameo that Arnold Schwarzenegger turned down. After all, a guy who famously killed a predator would have made a better predator killer than a suit or a woman who has, to the best of our knowledge, never killed a predator. I don't know.
This photo has been removed from Instagram. So there's some good in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to have to look up the damn image, though.
Yeah, but while you'd look up the damn image, I think you should read the other alternative ending that they were planning on doing, Dicker, which is they wanted to feature Newt in the movie.
Okay, let's just a second. I'm just going to try to. Oh, here is. I found the picture. Damn fucking God! What the fuck? That what?
Give me the link to the picture. I need the link to the picture.
Okay, let me see if I can get it to the. It's on an IGN blog.
All
okay,
right,
here it is. I got it.
All right, just send me. Yeah, give me the link.
Just I've got to find where all the little pictures of places and things. There we go.
Thank you. All right, let's see what this glorious picture looks like. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
There it is. Up.
Up. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Down.
Oh, down? Go down. Okay. Up.
There.
Oh,
that
there.
one.
That one. What? That's the picture? I thought it was something from Star Wars.
Well, it's kind of look like something from Star Wars. Wait, does that mean the Predator and the Xenomorph universes are crossing over with Star Wars now?
Okay, so yeah, we shot 3 different endings for the Predator, and all variations of a Predator killer. This unused ending was Predator Killer Ripley wearing the breather mask we created for the film. You can see her name tag there for her costume. Brianna Watkins played under the mask instead of Sigourney Weaver. The moving fingers and tail were deemed too face-hugger-like on the day and were cut and removed by someone. Sorry, John K. Miller, who headed up the breather mask for us. Zach Teller and Lorthgard, but they made me do it. Wow, this does not look Predator or Alien-ish. It does look like something from Star Wars.
What?
Okay, yeah.
It looks like she has part of a Japanese toilet tied to her face.
It does, doesn't it?
Decker would know. He spent a long time searching for the perfect Japanese toilet while we were in Japan.
Well, it's not my fault. I go over there, and I'm like, okay, Japan has these space toilets. I'm going to go in, I'm going to sit down, and it's going to suck my turds out and clean my butt for me. And we go there. I go into the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, getting ready. And I look, and it's a goddamn squat toilet. I didn't even know what squat toilets were.
And it's at that point that Decker really, really wished he had taken ballet.
Yes,
what do I do here? There's just a big hole in the fucking ground. Oh, you just gotta like sit and go like that. There's like pictures on the wall to explain it to stupid Americans like me. And I'm like, but you're Japan.
Yeah, you're years ahead of us in technology.
Why do I have to poop into a hole in the ground?
Oh my god. All right. Well, that's alternative ending number 1 out of 3. We don't know what the third one was, but let's take a look at that second one, shall we? So Newt would have been in the next one. So yes, Decker, this is yours.
Okay. Let's destroy all hopes and dreams I've had for life, and let's just get this over with. Okay. We learned just last week that one crazy alternative ending that was actually filmed for The Predator featured the arrival of Ellen Ripley as the Predator Killer, though the character was not actually played by Sigourney Weaver. As it turns out, another ending vastly different from the one we got was also filmed, this one featuring Newt from Aliens. Not Newt from Alien 3, because she's kind of a cadaver. Again, Hollywood artist Yuri Everson reveals and details this scrapped scene. We shot 3 different endings for the Predator, all variations of a Predator Killer. This unused ending was Predator Killer Newt, aka Rebecca Jordan, wearing the breather mask we created for the film. Everson explains over on Instagram, you can see her name there on the monitors. Brianna Watkins played Newt. The moving fingers and tail of the mask were deemed two-face-hugger. Like, we already know this. Newt was, of course, unceremoniously killed off in Alien 3. And she was going to return to the franchise in Neil Blomkamp's sequel to Aliens. That film, what? Oh, okay. She was going to return to the franchise in Neil Blomkamp's sequel to Aliens. That film, sadly, never ended up happening. Obviously, both Newt and Ripley alternative endings suggest that Fox wanted to create a new Alien/Predator shared universe, an idea totally left on the cutting room floor. The shared universe already exists. That's just really fucking it up.
Yeah, and we can't see any of the pictures, but we can assume that from the Ellen Ripley one, it was probably going to be the same thing, except just Newt's name
about the same with a different name on the thing. It's like I have a strange feeling that she was played by the same actress.
Yeah, probably. So yes, those are the 2 alternative endings to The Predator. One that would have featured Ellen Ripley, or one that would have featured Newt. Pick your poison.
It's like, okay, hi, I haven't been born yet, and I've never done anything with these creatures before, but I am kind of a badass. Versus, I haven't been born yet by an even further degree, and I was killed very, very definitively. And also have never, during my short life, never even saw one of these things, clearly. Yay. So who do we pick? Ellen Ripley, who might be some time-traveling clone version with the xenomorph blood and kind of she's done crazy shit with her already in canon. Or Newt, a dead kid.
We could always go with the unknown third alternate ending.
Oh yeah, Eric Heck says the third one was the Schwarzenegger cameo. So there we go. We would have had Ellen Ripley, we would have had Newt, or we would have had Schwarzenegger. And what was his character's name again? Dutch. Yeah, we would have had Dutch in the movie.
Okay, Motorcycle US dropped $2 saying, Creepy and Decker, wake up bald. How do you react? And I'm thinking I'd be like screaming and crying and then I'd be like, well, got to come up with another name, another tagline then.
Yeah, I even keep telling you this. You know, hello World Wide Web. I'm Decker Shado, the internet personality with the shiniest head.
And Nerdbane dropped $5 saying, I'm working with Mr. Black on Fortnite versus Predator. Thanos set to cameo.
Right, that.
Oh. And yeah, Jesse Guajado says, Dutch would have made... Jesse says Dutch would have made more sense. And yes, number 1, he's alive at the time. Number 2, he has fought predators. Number 3, we have been waiting forever to get Arnold Schwarzenegger back into Predator. He kind of made Predator, even though it's still Predator all around. Awesome actors, awesome acting. Schwarzenegger was still, by far, the star.
Yes.
And that's saying something in that kind of production. And he's been completely missing from the series since then. To get Schwarzenegger back would have been freaking huge, and yeah, he does make sense in that kind of sense, except for the fact that why the hell would a Predator have him to then bring him to be the Predator killer? That part doesn't make sense, but at least you'd understand what you would do with him, rather than, hi, this Predator brought a Predator killer to help save us from the Predators, and the Predator killer he brought is a dead kid from the future that doesn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
So it doesn't make sense, and then it does make sense, but it only makes sense because it doesn't make sense, so it makes sense.
That makes sense to me.
The Real Glow Dice is asking, glitchy for anyone else? And I don't know, I am just... expect more flashing.
The stream can only handle so much Decker rage. It just has to grab what it can and funnel it through.
Oh, man. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about Live and Wired going forward in this lovely, lovely land called this lovely, lovely internet on this lovely, well, on YouTube. And the various trials and tribulations and growth that it's had over the last year. And Live and Wired, it's about the same as it started, but it has changed quite a bit. So and also just presentation-wise, it's not where I envisioned it when I first saw it, but at the same time, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to that. Whereas I imagine Live and Wired as something that you could see playing on your roommate's TV, and it might take you a second or two to realize he's watching it on YouTube and not just on a regular television network. That's where my brain is like, Live and Wired can be that. It's not there yet.
Wayne's World, in other words.
Yes. Wait.
One other thing, real quick, I never got a chance to answer Motorcycle US's question. Honestly, for me, I don't know. I mean, I just kind of view that sort of thing as like, if it happens, it'll happen, and I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. You know, for me, it's just more like, I won't worry about it right now. I'll just
usually get a little more warning with the male pattern baldness.
Well, unfortunately, my father was dead before he went completely bald, so that makes sense, right?
So was mine. Yay.
You can pull off a Greg universe in which your top is bald, but then everything else is long.
Okay, I could do that.
I think that
I can have
work.
the best head and the shiniest head.
Sure, you could have both.
But yeah, talking about Live and Wired and how it's grown and all the things, 2018 was a weird year.
Very weird.
And for the show, I put out the least amount of reviews I have of any year, but I was looking at the numbers and such, and the show actually did pretty good despite that. So, yay, I got most views of any year, actually finally got as much in revenue as I was previously making at Kroger before I quit. So it's the first year where I'm like, hey, that wasn't a horrible life decision I made. So still got a ways to go to try and make sure everything is like very, very much strong and good. And like I said, me and my fiance talking about potential of having children's, they cost money. So I'm still still looking at it like, that's good, but at the same time, not good enough.
Yeah,
so.
With this whole talk about Live and Wired, I guess what Decker's trying to say is our next Twitter poll.
Yeah, but I also wanted to talk a little bit about like Creepy and Patricia how is your channel doing, like, in 2018 versus 2017? How's your online presence? How's everything moving forward?
I don't know. Like I said, I felt that 2018 is when I really dropped the ball. I didn't get a lot of movement in my followers. I was finishing up War in Between, which is my As Told by Ginger podcast. And then I was finishing Pixmix, which was the Pixar podcast. And then I jumped over to Dream Machine, which is the DreamWorks podcast that I'm doing. But at the same time, I only did like 2 videos, and they were like towards like the end of 2018, which means I really need to step up. But at the same time, I'm super busy with school, and I don't really have the much time as I used to.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I would have assumed, just based on the amount of reviews I put out in 2018, that I probably would have had less views than 2017. But the growth of the channel kind of overrode that. So, I mean, I looked at all the numbers, and I was actually kind of pleasantly surprised at how things performed. But I also found out about a kind of wonderful kneecapping by YouTube. One of my oldest videos, one of the first ones that did really well, and it had continued doing strong for years, was Xenomorph Biology. And Xenomorph Biology had, very stable numbers for like 5 years. Always doing not, phenomenal, not, oh my god, it's gone viral and has been seen by millions, but it kept up a decent amount of views for 5 years, up until the beginning of 2018, when YouTube said, hey, we think this isn't advertiser friendly. And I said, well, yes, it is. And then eventually they were like, okay, we checked, and yes, it is advertiser friendly. Good on you. It's got the yellow dollar sign again. But for some strange reason, it doesn't seem to be appearing in search engines that much anymore. Because those numbers that were all very stable for 5 fucking years suddenly are all the fucking way down. So yay. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything was looking pretty nice.
How about you, Creepy? How's things going for you?
Well, I did notice, like this was the year that I hit 9,000 subscribers. I didn't do a Dragon Ball Z joke because we'd already done that on Decker's channel, so I was kind of like, eh. But last couple of years, I have noticed it seems like my reviews are getting out to more people. I'm reviewing the DuckTales retrospective was very popular with people.
Yeah, I guess for a compilation of the new one, I guess more people are starting to watch the original again, which that's a great move, Creepy.
Right. I'll be finishing up Gem soon, and I know that a lot of people will be very happy to see that gone.
Especially Yama.
Yeah. And yes, we will be moving on to Gargoyles next, so that's coming.
Oh, cool.
Yay.
Also, I did do something this year. I reviewed the very first episode of the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s as a tribute to Stan Lee's passing. So that was surprisingly popular. Like that's at several thousand views so far. I'm kind of impressed and a little surprised, but yay.
Yay. Jonathan Fox asks, Creepy, what is your Instagram?
I don't have an Instagram, believe it or not. It's just something that I've not really bothered with.
Yeah, I have one, but I always forget to post on it, so I just occasionally bring back like an extreme close-up, black and white, high contrast. And there you go.
I only post whenever I go to a convention or some special event, so don't expect that much from D. So sorry. All right. I guess we can go over to...
well, there's the Twitter poll.
Yes, Twitter poll.
I had the part 2 of the Twitter poll, a little question that I was wondering what the chat might think. For the Live and Wired poll part 2, how do you think that Live and Wired can improve moving forward? And we got the 4 options. Number 1, better presentation. Like the idea I had, something that it can be seen on TV and you're thinking, oh, is that something on CBS? Like, no, that's Decker fucking Shado. Decker fucking Shado? Decker fucking Shado. Number 2, more breaking news. Always like the news, but we talk about all kinds of things go all kinds of crazy, but at the same time, news is news, and sometimes we don't cover it all, and sometimes we cover more than people want. So who knows? What do you think? Number 3, more Twitter polls. Kind of testing that out today. And finally, number 4, the last way we could possibly improve Live and Wired from where we are now, cancellation. So, on Twitter, @DeckerShado, 30 minutes starting now.
I am really looking forward to this one.
Yep, me too.
Okay, Patricia, sending you the link.
Yep, I will do it as always.
And she will be adding it to the link to the chat.
Yep. So, I can't wait to see what all of you guys choose.
And getting a lot of requests for reviewing Wrong Turn. And there's everything's like, okay. Pre-recorded and wired. Oh. Oh, jeez.
Nerdbane says, number 5, internet blood sports.
Oh, God. Let's just invite people onto the show to do battle. Like,
yes, and we're not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Just so-and-so disagrees with such and such. Let's bring them on to scream at each other for a while and pull in some super chats.
Yeah,
I like the setup of Live and Wired. The idea has always been for. I keep saying this because I almost have to remind myself because I get distracted by things. You don't get distracted. I do, but I say we because I want to feel inclusive. But yeah, the audience participation has always been something that's very important and at the core of my dream of the pinnacle of what Live and Wired could be, because I feel like that gives it the best excuse to be a live show. I mean, otherwise, why be live if you're not going to listen to your audience?
Very true.
That's just me. I mean, there's other reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's your first time seeing something. You don't have to worry about if something's going to happen later. It's like, I still kept playing EDF the one time when the chat kind of glitched out on my end and I had no idea what anyone was saying. There's still some value to it, not nearly as much though. Anyway, I'm getting distracted by things.
That's okay. Let's discuss about our next bit of news. So let me ask you guys a question. What are your thoughts on sequels?
Sequels. I believe that's a question for the chat or all of us.
All of you guys, because that leads up to our next article.
It's like sequels in games and movies. I feel like they can be done in different ways, and a lot of the times is when you have a good original story, it tends to be self-contained. The better it is, the less need it has for a sequel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Epic Jason X9000 says, Decker Shado, Live and Wired, episode 30, pizza party at his apartment.
Let's see if we can pull it off. We got like 4 weeks to plan. Oh, God. John Ramsey says, sequels, they need to burn.
I don't know. There have been some sequels that were good, and there were even some sequels that, I mean, this is a rarity, I will admit, but there are some sequels that people claim are better than the original.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Godfather 2.
Mm-hmm. Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. Yeah.
Aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Empire Strikes Back. Star Wars.
Empire Strikes Back. Yep.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Empire, yeah. Empire Strikes Back had the same kind of thing going for it, though. I think that a lot of video game sequels tend to have, at least used to, not so much anymore, the lack of the fact that a lot of games, when it's coming from a big studio, it's expected. It has to be AAA, massive, just crazy, throw everything at it. Whereas there used to be a little more experimentation. Some big studios making slightly cheaper games that just try something a little different. And that tended to be how it kind of worked. You had the first game was sort of low end when it came to the budgets, medium, kind of like Mass Effect, the first Mass Effect. It really wasn't a massive blockbuster, huge budget. It was a modest budget, and it tried something a little new. And then Mass Effect 2 increased the budget, and let's try and make things, but make them better. And that's kind of how video game sequels, when done right, I think, tend to work out. You have the experimental first game that doesn't have the greatest budget behind it, like Borderlands. And then it does okay enough, and you get the sequel. You take what people liked, and you get some new ideas fleshed out for the gameplay, and whoo, you get Borderlands 2.
Yeah, very same thing with Mega Man as well. You know, Mega Man started off with a modest budget and only like a handful of people working on it. And then, you know, Mega Man 2 was done on their spare time when they were working on other games. And, you know, that pretty much set the standard for the entire franchise up until like Mega Man X.
Omar Harris says Back to the Future 2, Superman 2, Spider-Man 2, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, and tons of others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jack Brand says Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I was asking that question was because of our upcoming article. So the reason why I bring this up is because according to Hollywood screenwriter Brad Bird, Hollywood's sequels obsession is short-sighted and stupid, calling Dunkirk the boldest blockbuster in years. So yeah, now there's a reason why I want to bring this up is because Brad Bird has actually done The Incredibles 2, and it has become a massive success. But at the same time, he's talking about how we have become super obsessed with sequels and tons of sequels, and how it kind of like limits the creativity of, you know, what, you know, the potential that movies can be. And right. There have been some sightings of the rare exceptions of that, like Dark Knight and other movies that everybody else has mentioned, like Evil Dead 2, Godfather 2, Toy Story 2, etc. But for the most part, sequels, according to what Brad Bird says, that they are the exception than the norm when it comes to like how good a sequel can be, that they're just nothing more than just severe cash grabs. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Do you agree or kind of disagree?
Well, the way I see it is, movie making is a business. It's an art and a business, and there's the balance of the two. People like really good art, but people also tend to gravitate towards what is familiar, which is why sequels tend to do better than originals, and why it's safer to bet more money on a sequel. But unlike with video games where you can just try an experimental thing that doesn't cost too much, but the gameplay can be unique on a modest budget. You can't really pull off that kind of shit with filmmaking. You can sort of say, here's this kind of horror, or this kind of action, these kind of characters with these kind of quirks. But then you're like, okay, we've got to pull a sequel out of it now. But you've already told a story, and it doesn't have the same kind of effect with a movie where you just like, okay, just drop more story in there. It's going to be fine if you just have these kind of characters doing these kind of things. It's like, not really. With games, the gameplay is what you come for. The story just kind of holds it together. So the story is what you come for with film. So you kind of need to have, in order for a film to really be great and original, it really needs, well, it doesn't need, but it really helps to have a big budget. A big budget behind it first and right out of the gate will make a major difference in film, but that's also risky. So it's all just, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Because if you're a studio willing to put that much money behind that kind of thing, you could make some fantastic films that are instant classics, or you could go bankrupt in 3 weeks.
Very true. Yeah, and I'm sorry if I missed out on your comment, whoever said this, but they actually did bring up an interesting question. What do you prefer, a sequel or a reboot? Yeah, that is the question of the day, everybody.
Yeah. Given the choice between the two, I would actually take a sequel over a reboot, because most of the reboots that I've seen have been not good.
Most of them have not been good either. They've been pretty much pointless, and I think they're kind of like missing the point of what made reboots great in the first place, is that reboots can be done either one of two ways that I've seen that were done really well. A concept that was really unique for its time has not aged very well, or a concept that wasn't good in the first place and then brought back and made better. Like, I mean, we've talked about like all the incarnations of like Frankenstein and Dracula and such. Everybody's put their own spin on it. I mean, we wouldn't even be talking about My Little Pony if it wasn't for Friendship is Magic.
And
so
I'm thinking of like a video game kind of term on reboot versus sequel.
Metroid Zero Mission.
Remake.
Metroid Zero Mission. I think it's like
Metroid Zero Mission took the original game and kind of messed with it, updated the gameplay, and it was pretty much a new game, but with the original story, sort of. Mm-hmm. But then you got stuff like Spyro Reignited Trilogy, which is exactly the same gameplay, the same levels, everything is pretty much the same. That if you were to do that in film, it would be like the Psycho remake. And the Psycho remake in film, absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Spyro Reignited Trilogy, welcomed with open arms.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, it's even like you mentioned in that review of that. I forget what movie that you were talking about. The one that was talking about Ed Gein, where the Psycho remake was just absolutely pointless because the original was already fine in itself. I mean, what was the point of having the 1998 remake of Psycho? It just wasn't necessary. I feel like a good remake can be done if you can be able to tweak up the concept, or if you can be able to refreshen it. Like, I still think that the 2012 TMNT is magnificent.
And then there's like a remake coming this year, a game that's coming out, the Resident Evil 2 remake.
That's right, yes.
I'm kind of cautiously optimistic, because it doesn't look like what I would have wanted out of a Resident Evil 2 remake. I would have preferred something closer to the Resident Evil 1 remake on GameCube, where it was the same kind of gameplay, but they did still mess with things kind of like Metroid Zero Mission, where it was the same story, but it was updated. The gameplay was the same, but it was newer. It was like that, whereas the Resident Evil 2 remake is taking the Resident Evil 4 style of gameplay rather than the Resident Evil 1, 2, 3 style.
Right.
Or 1, 2, 3, 0, Code Veronica.
Sure.
You know what I mean. The Resident Evil 2 gameplay is going to be drastically altered. It's going to be a very different game with the Resident Evil 2 story that's also been updated. So I'm thinking it's going to be good. It's going to be a fun game, but it is going to be in a weird place in my brain trying to just fit it in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Anonymous Bastard says, I think the Resident Evil movie series needs a reboot badly. Yeah.
Yeah, it has been stated, and I can't wait to see the Monster Hunter movie done by the same guy who did the Resident Evil movies.
Oh, with his wife in there.
Yeah.
Why?
Nepotism at its finest.
Oh. Her film career is entirely based on the fact that she's married to this guy.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, is it necessarily because she's not that great of an actor otherwise, or is it just because he keeps giving her so damn much work, there's nothing else she can do?
I mean, even Helena Bonham Carter, when she was with Tim Burton for a time, actually had other roles with other directors.
She wasn't in every Tim Burton movie that was ever made while they were married.
No, not even close. I mean, at the time, Tim Burton had another wife that she was in other movies. What was her name? Like Lisa Marie or something?
Fuck the New World Order here says Resident Evil 2 has microtransactions. Why is nobody mentioning that? I didn't mention because I didn't know.
What? I didn't know either.
I the most about Resident Evil 2 other than seeing the gameplay and being like, oh, it's not the same. And then I lost interest fast in digging up news about it. If it was like, it's playing kind of like the same as the classic, but updated in new ways, I would have been like, oh, what new ways? It's like, it's playing like Resident Evil 4. Like, oh, okay.
Thing about it is that Resident Evil 2, to me, I love Resident Evil 2. To me, it's my favorite of the classic Resident Evil era, on the PS1, The first one is okay. It's not bad, but I preferred Resident Evil 2. I liked the characters so much better. I liked the story so much better, and just
we were attacked by these zombie-like creatures.
Okay, and you have to admit the dialogue is unintentionally hilarious.
I mean, to be
There's
fair,
a gun inside. Better take it with you.
To be fair, those games did not age well when it came to their voice acting.
No, they did not. Although they did have some high quality talent, doing the voice acting. The woman who voiced Claire Redfield was the same woman who voiced Jubilee in the X-Men animated series. So
yeah, that's right. What was her name? Alison Court. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
In
Alison
Resident
Court.
Evil 2, if I remember right, the voice acting was kind of intentionally, because the first one they just couldn't really afford to go all out and get the biggest actors to play in their PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
But that kind of became some of the charm of it, so they're like,
yeah.
fuck it. Let's keep that for this.
These people could voice act, but basically by the time Resident Evil 2 came out, it had already developed this reputation for basically you're playing a cheesy horror movie, complete with characters not being able to run very fast from the monster, things being hidden in weird locations for no apparent reason, and the acting and the voices being kind of cheesy and stilted. So when Resident Evil 2 came out, yeah, they could improve on all of that, but by that point that had been a signature part of the franchise. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I even heard that. I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard in when Konami re-released Symphony of the Night, and they actually did change the voice acting for the characters. Instead of Dracula saying "What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets," he said something else that sounded a little bit more sensical. Like something that was sinister yet at the same time sounded less like broken English and over the top acting. So I think that they did change it. So yeah, I know a lot of people were disappointed.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. How about you?
Yeah, they changed that.
Oh, did you?
So, I know they took it away for the re-release.
You don't belong in this world.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, I mean, I understand that there's a lot of people who kind of like cringe.
You steal men's souls and make them your slaves.
Right.
I have to say, I did think that Dracula did the better job, of sounding, like kind of cheesy, but at the same time ominous. Whereas Richter is just sort of like porn star quality actor. Like, you steal men's souls and use them to become your slaves.
Right, exactly.
It is on the wrong syllable. Go back to Shatner acting class, young man.
Going back to Shatner again.
Now I'm just thinking of Richter Belmont. Just there, like, the hose is stuck. Can you help me with my hose?
Wow.
Oh, Trevor Belmont.
Oh, yeah. I can help with that. Good.
Yeah, instead of I just found it. So instead of Richter saying,
you found the Richter Belmont.
Yeah, no. Oh God, no. I'm talking about. I'm talking about the rewritten Castlevania Symphony of the Night dialogue. God, no. Instead of Richter saying, "Die, monster, you don't belong in this world," he says, "Dracula, die now and leave this world. You will never belong here." And instead of Dracula saying, "What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets," he says, let me just find it. Yeah. "Oh, but in this world you have invited me. Your own kind called me forth with praise and tribute."
Oh, that's before the line where
exactly.
That's in between.
Yeah, in between. Tribute, "You are a thief. You steal men's souls and their freedom." So, and then freedom is always sacrificed to faith, good hunter, or are you truly here by choice? And so, instead of, I'm just going to skip over to, when he actually says that line. So instead of, the infamous line where he says, "What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets," he actually says this line. He actually says, let's see. "Ha, mankind, a cesspit of hatred and lies. Fight for them and then die for their sins." Not as funny as "What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets."
I actually prefer "What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets." Although I can't say that the other line is bad. I just want to also point out that it was Decker who was really, really excited when he thought that you had found the Trevor Belmont porno.
Richter Belmont. Richter
Belmont porno. Yeah, you're right.
I know. I wasn't even remotely looking for that. I'm sorry. I let you down.
Volkline says, sounds kind of like Thanos. And I've seen enough Thanos like lewds. And he's got a big butt.
Very much so. But, while we're actually talking about Resident Evil 2, I want to give a little bit of a leadway into some toys and some merchandise coming up. So for this, if you are a huge fan of Resident Evil 2, then for the low price of $115, you can get the Resident Evil 2 board game.
Okay, I'm going to say this right now. I want probably Decker to buy this, and then the three of us play it.
That'd be fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Why do I have to buy it?
Go.
Yeah, but just because I can claim it on my taxes doesn't mean I have to buy it.
But it's my show.
Yes.
Okay, we'll put it to a vote. Patricia, do you think that
that's not going to be the poll, the Twitter poll? Who buys the Resident Evil 2 board game?
But yeah,
like a different Twitter poll.
Do like a special live stream.
Oh, we got 8 minutes left on the second poll. Okay, I'm going to let that go out.
Okay, continue.
But do a special live stream where all three of us are playing the Resident Evil game.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Anyway,
who's gonna buy it? But yeah, look at all the cool stuff it comes with. So, Resident Evil 2, the board game, is a cooperative survival horror board game for 1 to 4 players, set in the rich and immersive Resident Evil universe. World-class miniatures and innovative new mechanics that'll help deliver an experience that captures the essence of the much-loved video game, with players venturing into the zombie-infested streets and buildings of Raccoon City in a desperate fight to escape the nightmare. Pre-order will be shipped after January 25th, so yeah, if you're willing to spend $115 on this, then go for it.
That might sound like a lot, but do you have any idea how much the Settlers of Catan costs?
A lot.
It's like a $70 board game. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I was doing a little Christmas stuff, the white elephant
You're kind of
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
and they're like, spend $30 on a gift for the random thing. I'm like, okay, I'll get some games. And I looked at the games. I'm like, shit, this is pricey.
Mm-hmm. But if you can't, then don't worry, because on our next segment, we'll be looking at the figurines. So this time around, we'll be looking at from Godzilla King of the Monsters, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones, and more of the coolest toys of the week, according to the Toy Aisle, featured in io9.com. We'll be taking a look at first Monster Arts, King of the Monsters, Godzilla and Ghidorah.
I'm kind of interested in the fact that Godzilla had, the big redesign. And King Ghidorah looks like King Ghidorah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to impersonate and do your girly run, King Ghidorah girly run, Decker?
That was the past Ghidorah that was doing that. Cat Ludisk is asking, "Where's Mothra?"
Yeah, I want to know that too. Where is Mothra?
Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll have her toy later. We got an early look at Ghidorah's glorious design in the upcoming movie at Tokyo Comic-Con last month, but Bandai has officially solicized the first 2 figures from its line of King of the Monsters. We have a 6-inch tall Godzilla toy, and for Ghidorah, we have a 10-inch doll toy with a 23.5 wingspan, articulated enough that the creatures can contort itself around Godzilla, and the upcoming Rodan and Mothra figures. Okay, so they will be coming out. Pre-orders go live in Japan this week ahead of the release.
Does the Mothra figure come with its own little twin fairies?
Oh, I don't know. I guess we'll find that pretty soon because
I must get the twin fairies. To scale. Yeah.
Yes. So Godzilla will be costing $64 and Ghidorah will be $166.
Matt TV7 says, "Did you guys know that each of Ghidorah's heads looks slightly different, and each head makes a different roar?"
I did not know that.
Me neither.
I was not aware, but I am now.
Yes. So there you go. I'm sure that will kind of make up for the $115 Resident Evil 2 board game. We also have Aquaman, if any of you guys are interested in that. I take it this is from the movie of the same name, not
Oh
a
god,
comic.
that on the side, okay? But why did wizards used to shit themselves? I saw that little thing on that little thing on just being shared around the internet, and I was like, okay, stop. There's only so much lore you can add to something. Stop.
My God. Let's see, $70 coming out in July. Here we have the next figure, which is Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. Let's see, she's going to cost you $20, which is the cheapest one so far. I mean, hell, even look at how much Aquaman costs. If Aquaman costs $70, I guess not many people are caring about Game of Thrones as much if the figure is $20. And then we have Severus Snape from Harry Potter. Very nice, detailed one, to be quite honest.
Does he come
And
with
he's
invisible poop?
Yes, he will come with invisible poop because we need to get as much money as we can. And he will cost. He will cost about $55. So yeah, those are our toys, and I'm sure that there's plenty more that'll be coming out. We'll probably definitely be covering the Rodan and Mothra toys when those come out. But in the meantime, coming soon, we will be getting the Godzilla and Ghidorah toys. So that'll be pretty cool for when the new movie comes out.
But are you too familiar with the whole thing about the invisible poop? And it just came up, and I'm wondering if you'd like to know an abridged version of exactly what was argued.
I'd rather not.
I don't even know anything about it, and I tend to stay that way.
Well, I'm going to make your day and let you know.
I'm sure you will.
You know the Chamber of Secrets?
Yeah.
You know how it's secret?
Yes, it's secret because...
It was kind of unveiled a little bit on the accidental side from the addition of plumbing.
Yeah, the basilisk was using the plumbing so that it can be able to go around the school. And yeah, what about it?
Well, you see, the plumbing getting into the Chamber of Secrets wasn't intentional. The thing was, the plumbing was added later, before Hogwarts didn't have the plumbing, because it didn't need the plumbing, because they just magicked their poop away. They were just like, I don't need to go to the bathroom. Spell! There we go.
Okay, what?
That's the argument being made. I can't remember from who, but it seems to have spread pretty quickly. Some are attributing it to Rowling. I'm not so sure. I haven't seen anything straight from her mouth talking about how, wizards shit themselves all the time. It's fine.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's probably like the worst thing I've heard of in terms of continuity. I mean, I can make the argument that the Broadway show doesn't exactly stick well with continuity, and there are some questionable things that happen, but this one, I don't even have any words to that.
Yeah. I did like what was underneath the Severus Snape toy real quick. Is that, have you ever wanted a dour Alan Rickman to sit on your shelf and judge you? I can actually imagine that being what would the tagline for a Decker Shadow action figurine. Have you ever wanted a dour Decker Shadow to sit on your shelf and judge you while you watch movies?
Oh god, that's it. That's the merch I need. I've been making mugs. I like mugs. No one else likes mugs. I got it. What we gotta do, Creepy, we gotta come out with our own action figures.
Yes, you need to have an action figure, and you need to have catchphrases.
I know everyone says they want T-shirts, but I don't trust them. Action figures. Especially since apparently you can charge $70 for one of them.
Mm.
I mean, Markiplier charges that for a hoodie. People are like, fucking goddamn, pay it for Severus Snape. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Or for Aquaman. Which one of them costs $70?
Snape. Aquaman. Aquaman costs $70.
Okay, so we got to put ourselves in tights and make ourselves into action figures.
Yeah.
So how are we going to go about doing this exactly?
Well, first you need to get a toy company that'll sponsor you, make the toy, make it look as detailed as possible, charge about $100 as a collector's edition, and then afterwards you can rake in the money. And then you'll release a somewhat collector's edition that'll be exclusive for a handful of people, and then you charge that double, and then afterwards you'll release the classic edition.
I think we need to put Patricia on this because she already knows everything that we need to do.
It's official. She is now manager. Oh boy.
Oh man.
All right. So
poll's ending. It hasn't pulled out the final tally yet, but it says it's ending.
Okay, cool. So while it's ending, I guess we can talk about our next bit of news. So, Creepy, I think this will be a fun one to talk about since
there it goes. The last 3 votes were tallied, and boom, we got 33 votes in on the Live and Wired poll part 2. How can Live and Wired improve moving forward? Coming in at 36%. Number 1, better presentation.
Okay.
So, Creepy, we're gonna have to do something about your lighting. I'm gonna have to get that nice desk and that get the official Live and Wired mug here more often because right now it's just a freaking solo cup.
And I need to get my camera fixed.
And yeah, you need to fix your camera. Everyone, we got to get a camera for Patricia. Boom, there we go. We can have a nice thing going. Get the people guest starring again. It'd be great. At number 2, at 33%, pretty close. More Twitter polls. It seems to be going over well. At 18%, still respectable. More breaking news.
Awesome.
And 13%, still scarily respectable cancellation. But yes, should I just get in focus real quick and talk about the 3rd Twitter poll? Does anyone want to break right into that? Because we're going to need 30 minutes to go through it again.
Yes. So,
we're talking about sequels.
Yes, we're talking about sequels. Do I have any sequel news? Let me just see if I can find anything.
Jack Brand dropped $5 saying, speaking of Arya Stark, people are anticipating Episode 9's trailer, yet Game of Thrones' final season comes out this April, yet no trailer as of yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? We should have done the sequels, Twitter poll during the Brad Bird thinks that sequels are stupid and short-sighted, but...
Yeah, it's just the first poll wasn't done yet, so I was like...
That's true, but I did find another one. I
gotta drop the poll length down from a day to 30 minutes. Whew, that could have been bad.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I did find a good one to segue into. So yeah, go ahead and read off the Twitter poll.
Okay, so on the topic of sequels, there's with all those sequels coming and going and what have you, and do sequels need to exist? Are they better? Are they worse? Who knows? But we've got an idea. What sequel of these unnecessary sequels would you like to see? Titanic 2, Double Dipping. The Upside 2, Upside Down. The Happening 2, Why? And finally, E.T. 2, On Hold. We got 30 minutes on Twitter at Shado starting now. I will be giving the link to Patricia for her to put into the chat for all of you lovely, lovely viewers on your lovely, lovely computers or lovely.
All right.
Okay. Well, if you're watching this on your TV, you could go to Twitter on your phone.
Yep.
You do. You got phones, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we brought that back. All right. Well.
Nicole 7891 says no, and yes.
Oh, cool. They want an ET too. Awesome. Okay, let me just put that into the chat. Okay, guys, have fun.
Awesome.
All right. So speaking of sequels, I guess we could talk about a sequel to a horror franchise. So let me just bring this one up. So we're going to be discussing about The Conjuring 3. This will take the series in a new direction, says producer James Wan, who hasn't read in a while.
I know I haven't.
Okay, so go ahead.
The Conjuring series has taken the horror genre by storm in recent years, basing their films on real cases of paranormal attack. Are they real or paranormal? Now, With The Conjuring 3 in the works, producer James Wan says they're taking it in a whole new direction. Paranormal things based on real case. Oh, damn. All while still portraying a real case. Oh. What?
Which is usually what directors and producers will tell audiences.
I'm one paragraph in and I'm confused.
This is usually the kind of thing that directors and producers will tell audiences when they're about to do the same thing that they've been doing before.
Yeah. Based on the Warren cases, these films have brought to life some very terrifying moments in human history, moments that are seemingly hard to explain. In an interview with Bloody Disgusting, Wan explained it. Wan discussed the new direction of the series. Oh God, Motorcycle US dropped $2 saying E.T. had a sequel book, Book of the Green Planet.
Ooh.
I read that one when I was in like junior high, I think, or thereabouts. I remember I found it in the school's library.
Oh, what do you know?
Okay, Tara wants me to let her out of the room real quick.
Okay. I even remember like when I think I remember that even Forrest Gump had a sequel.
Yeah, it did.
That's crazy to think about, you know?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
the first chapter has Forrest trashing the film version.
Yeah, apparently that's true. Apparently the writer was kind of very skeptical about the movie adaptation because it didn't they had to change, the casting of Tom Hanks because Forrest in the book was described as a really heavy guy who was like 6'5". So
I remember it's discussing this on a previous Live and Wired.
Yeah, that's true. So they would have had either John Goodman or John Candy as Forrest Gump instead of having Tom Hanks. But yeah, please continue, Decker. I'm sorry.
So I'd like John Candy, but I think John Goodman would probably fit the role a little better.
Oh yeah, much better. Apparently, according to Bade Blader, MDM 2009, The Asylum made a Titanic 2. Of course they did.
Because of course they did. Oh.
Well, I know. I was thinking more like an official Titanic 2 from James Cameron.
Yeah, we're not talking about Asylum, and we're not talking about the Italian animated stuff.
Like a James Cameron Titanic 2 in the vein of Aliens or Terminator 2.
Right, exactly.
Rose comes back with a goddamn assault rifle and has to fight for the future of humanity. Okay, all the Conjuring films are based on the case files, so they're more based on the true story aspect of the real-life Warrens. I think that's important. It's important that the mothership. Oh, I thought he was talking about like his alien planet, but it's important that the mothership stays true to the inspiration of the people, of the real people.
Sure.
The spin-offs are where we get to have more fun and do weird and wonderful, crazy things. The mothership of it being the Conjuring films. We want it to come back to the real stuff. I feel it's kind of odd, this guy talking about staying real and come back to the mothership.
Yeah. And talking about the spin-offs being crazy stuff.
He added, it's not necessarily based on an artifact, but it's based on one of the Warrens' case files. It's this guy who was on trial for committing a murder. I think the first film in America's history where the defendant used possessions as a reason, as an excuse. I don't think you've seen many movies. Again, this movie, like the others, are based on real case files. In this case, a man tried to use possession as a defense for a murder case. I figured that from what he just said. Third film, directed by Michael Chavez, who directed The Curse of La Llorona, for one, which impressed the Aquaman director enough to bring him back for this stuff. Their wording of this is really confusing to me. I keep thinking of the wrong thing before I finish the sentence. Jesus. Okay, it's going to release in 2020, probably.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know for sure, but yeah, maybe.
Ooh, boy, my brain. Ooh, it impressed Aquaman director. Okay.
Yeah, so the Conjuring 3 are essentially trying to get back to basics. So, I mean, I guess that's good. I mean, because I know that the Conjuring, their spin-offs are more well-known than the actual franchise itself. So it's kind of like how, the Persona series is well-known than the series that it based off of itself, which is the... I forget, but I think what was it like called again? The crap. I'm sure somebody will like mention.
I would never buy a game called The Crap. That's probably the thing that's wrong.
There's an NES game called Scat, so that's probably the closest thing. Yeah, I know. Oh, there we go. That's what now I remember. Thank you very much, everybody. Shin Megami Tensei series. But yes, there was a game called Scat on the NES, and it is actually like a police force. But seriously, like you cannot make up a. Come on, seriously, Scat. No. Anyway, so yeah, so Conjuring. It's actually really interesting. Like somebody is using possession in a court case instead of like owning up to responsibility that they did something wrong. They blame, oh, I was controlled by a ghost or something.
Epic Jason X9000 says the Crap 2, the crappier, followed by the Crap 3, the crappiest. And I know where you go from the crappiest. You go to crap free or crap hard.
Yep.
Also, like the whole idea of blaming, like saying that you were possessed, as the reason why you committed a crime. That sounds like something that would be used on American Horror Story. Like, I'm surprised there wasn't like a whole season of just this American Horror Story, The Trial, where, like the defendant claims that they were possessed by an evil spirit, and that's the defense they're going to go with.
I'm just thinking, like, it just reminds me of Scream 2, where it's like, I'm going to say it was the movies. No one's ever done that before. And I'm thinking, but didn't people do that all the damn time with, like,
yeah. Like, have you
with The Exorcist?
Like,
they were like, oh, I saw The Exorcist. They tried that in court. Like, Scream 2 guy. Don't you know movie trivia? That's the point of these movies. Anyway.
Yes, indeed. Oh my god. Now they're writing more. Matanui says crap 4, shitfest. Arca Lucard says the crap 4, the crappening. Lazarus Soul says crap 5, I think the fish was bad. Epic Jason X9000 says crap 6, the crap of Michael Myers.
Lazarus Soul 82, crap 7, the new blood.
No.
Oh god.
You never cease to disappoint us, chat.
Okay.
Next one.
Okay.
Next one, please.
All right. Okay, don't worry. This one's actually pretty cool. I didn't find this one out until just a few days ago. So, believe it or not, I got you a little segment there. Ripley's is actually going to be coming back on TV, and they have a new host that is not Dean Cain. It is Bruce Campbell, and there's a trailer in the bottom that you can check out to see for yourself. So, Creepy, your turn to read this one.
Okay. Also, real quick. Matt TD7 says, okay, this one is for Creepy. Should I have another beer or go for another vodka shot? Go with the beer. Okay.
Beer before liquor, never sicker. Liquor before beer. You're all clear. At least you're supposed to be.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you scroll it up a little bit?
Sure.
Part of it is there we go. Okay. We've learned this morning that a new iteration of Ripley's Believe It or Not is coming next year, and your host this time around will be the groovy one himself, Bruce fucking Campbell. Thank you. Ripley's arrives on the Travel Channel in 2019. Check out the trailer below, which we can't play for you, but never mind. Most recent version of Ripley's Believe It or Not was hosted by Dean Cain, you may recall, and it aired on TBS from 2000 to 2003. It was canceled after four seasons. Actually, I liked Dean Cain as a host. It didn't bother me that he was, but if you ask me who would be a better host, Dean Cain or Bruce Campbell, I'm going to go with Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. This is going to be really cool because a lot has happened in, past the 15 years when it was canceled. Like, Ripley's is still continuing to update itself with upcoming books. And there's still the Ripley's Museum in Florida that I used to go to whenever I went to Orlando. And there was actually one in St. Augustine when I went over there to visit for the first time. And yeah, so it's still pretty popular. I'm really excited to see what kind of new stuff they'll be talking about.
It's the little animated ad on the sidebar there is like little bonus news. Tremor 7 confirmed by Michael Ross. It's like, yes, we did that last episode.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Epic Jason X9000 says, Ripley's believe it, or else.
Very much so.
This kind of reminds me of an idea I had for something that I never actually pitched to Decker or Patricia, because I felt like this would be something that Decker would desperately try to get me to do. But I had this idea for an internet show called Six Sinister South, which is like a fusion of Ripley's Believe It or Not meets Ghost Hunters, where the three of us travel around throughout the southeastern United States and find like haunted houses and just really, really bizarre things.
And I'll bring the marshmallows.
And Decker will bring the marshmallows.
And the sarcasm.
No, that's what I bring.
All of the sarcasm.
I'll bring the rage.
There you go.
You bring the rage, I bring the sarcasm.
What do I bring?
You bring the common sense and the ability.
You're the manager.
Okay, there you go. I can do that.
Yeah. You bring the ability to not have Decker spend all our money on a jacket.
Very true. Otherwise, we'll be living off of beer and nuts.
Yeah.
You know, like for food. You know, if we're going to be traveling into different houses, we don't want to be living off of beer and nuts for food, because that's not proper nutrition. Never mind.
Sorry, I was eating beans.
This is what I have to do, guys. Yes, Lazarus Soul 82 says I'm going to bring the sandwiches. Yeah, I definitely I can do that.
Yay, sandwiches!
All the sandwiches. Anyway, let me just pop over to the next article while we're at it. So going back into video games again. Sorry, I have some bad news for all of you Mac and Linux users, but Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which was the spiritual successor to Castlevania The Symphony of the Night that we talked about earlier, is canceled. So
on Mac and Linux.
Yeah, Linux. So sorry for all of you Mac and Linux users, it will not be coming out. And I believe for the Wii U version is canceled because it's being switched over to the Nintendo Switch. The Vita version.
Why Wii U?
I'm so sorry, Decker. And as for the Vita version, that was canceled as well. So
Wii U is the best game console ever made for inventory management. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. But as for the most recent ports that were canceled, Mac and Linux. So not too much to say. All the other ports for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, the Windows, they're still coming. So there's that to look forward to. But everywhere else has been canceled. And the most recent one was on the Mac and the Linux. So very sorry, everybody. But hopefully, the 2019 release will still be sufficient enough for the game to come out.
But yeah, Symphony of the Night was a damn good Castlevania game. And I think it wasn't the first one that really brought forth the idea of Metroidvania, the first Castlevania game that was made like a Metroid game. So now they just call that kind of game Metroidvania, even though
yes, it was. That was the very first
Metroid
one
before then.
Yes, it was. The first one came out in 1997. And then ever since then, that was pretty much like the backbone for a lot of indie developers to make various Metroidvania games. Guacamelee, Axiom Verge. Recently, we have Hollow Knight. There's Dust and Elysian Tale. So very even the Strider and other games have pretty much just picked up on that. So I am actually looking forward to Bloodstained because, you have Iga. He's kind of like the one who pretty much started off the Metroidvania popularity, even though technically, according to what Iga said, he said he was inspired by The Legend of Zelda when creating this game, not Metroid. Which makes a lot of sense, to be quite honest, because even still to this day, Metroid has never been popular in Japan. Metroid has actually gotten a lot more popular in America and in Europe. So I can understand what Iga was saying about like he was inspired by A Link to the Past when he was doing that game.
Zelda is also, it tends to be more popular in America than in Japan, but I guess Zelda is more popular in Japan than Metroid is popular in Japan.
Yes, it is. It's way more Zelda's way more popular in Japan than Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of funny too because I remember when they were releasing the new characters for when Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U and 3DS, and they were talking about like Little Mac. The Japanese were really pissed off because they didn't really care about Little Mac because the Punch-Out series came out very, very late into the game's release. Like they got Mike Tyson's Punch-Out like much later, and it was exclusive to like a certain amount of, purchases. And as for Punch-Out for the Super Nintendo, you had to download it in a kiosk, and it was in 1998.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and like, well, a lot of games over here got like super, super popular, like Mario. Well, Mario has been popular in both the United States and in Japan, but like, it's like Metroid and Legend of Zelda and Castlevania again is another one that's popular in both places. But things like other games that were like super, super big over here, like games over there that got to be really, really big were like completely different. Like there's a whole gaming franchise that has only gotten only gotten a handful of releases here in the United States. It's called Ganbare Goemon.
Yes, Ganbare Goemon. That's a really good example. Otherwise known as Mystical Ninja for us Americans.
Yeah, right. The first game to be released here in the United States was called Legend of the Mystical Ninja, and I actually had that game, and it was a lot of fun. But
Epic Jason X9000 says, except Metroid was about exploring an alien world, and makes sense. Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Drew's roaming around the castle and then roaming around the castle upside down. Influence.
Yeah, tell that to Iga, Tell that to Iga.
Right.
But yeah, continue.
I just wonder what would happen if you went out a window while you were in the upside down castle. It'd just be like, shit!
Yeah. Would you be flying on the ground or up the sky? But yeah, you're right. And then we only got like how many games? Like I think we got like 2 or 3 in America. Well, everywhere else was like released in Japan. It's kind of funny because I think that Dragon Quest was kind of like that in a way in which we had like a handful of Dragon Quest games. But then when the series got a lot more popular, they started releasing more in America. Same thing with Final Fantasy for Europe. The first and final
3 Final Fantasy games, and then Sony gets Square goes over to Sony for the future releases after Nintendo's like, discs are stupid. And so they get the next Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 7. It was like
4, 5, and 6.
What?
Yeah, we're 4, 5, and 6. Yeah.
And I was like the quote from James Rolfe was like, when that happened, I was like, what the fuck happened to 4, 5, and 6? But little did I know at the time, the question I should have been asking was, what the fuck happened to 2, 3, and 5?
Right, exactly.
But yeah,
but Europeans got it the worst though, because their first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and then the Final Fantasy games that they got on the Game Boy were like Final Fantasy Mystic Adventure and stuff like that. Weren't even Final Fantasy games at all. They were games based off of the Secret of Mana series. So, and then it was like that for the longest time until Final Fantasy VII came out, and then they were introduced to the Final Fantasy franchise. It's like, man, sometimes it's really confusing, But
they did get EDF2 before me.
Yeah,
my first EDF was EDF3. That was the one that they released in America, EDF 2017. And then the original one was Japan only, as far as I know. I still want to play it, but I don't know how to get my hands on a Japanese PlayStation 2 and a copy of Monster Attack along with the rest of the budget games on it. If I got it new, it would have been really cheap. I'm not so sure anymore. Damn it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it's true. That's true.
Yeah, Dragon Quest was super popular over in Japan.
Oh yeah, it's really super popular. In fact, they were responsible that because it was so popular and that kept people from going to work and from kids from going to school, that they banned Dragon Quest for ever being released on weekdays.
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure. I mean, I've dug some bits into it. From some things I've heard, I haven't done as much research as I need to have a definitive answer. But from what I have heard, it's not an official law, but it is kind of a suggestion to them, and they've been like, okay, no, it's weekends only. Yeah.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But yeah, like Dragon Quest was super huge. Secret of Mana, it's not called Secret of Mana over there, but Secret of Mana. It didn't have as many games as Dragon Quest or Ganbare Goemon, but Secret of Mana was super popular. And like I said, Ganbare Goemon only had like one or two, like a handful of games over here. And like if you look it up on Wikipedia, it's something like there's a list of games like you can't even see my hands, like how far in the screenshot, but basically it's like a long list of games that have been go back as far as like the first in the the Nintendo Entertainment System, then Super Nintendo, then PlayStation, then PS2, and it just keeps going. And like there have been a lot of questions as to why it was never released here in the United States. Like, why did it never catch on in the United States? And basically what it comes down to is cultural boundaries. You know, the Ganbare Goemon series is very, very heavily steeped in both Japanese history, Japanese folklore, and Japanese legend. So, you know, it's pretty much a Japanese style game for Japanese people, you know. And it's and also in along with that, it also tends to get a little weird. Like I think there was at one point in one of the games there were like time traveling transvestite nuns or something.
I think I heard about that. Yeah.
Which game, where, how much?
I don't know which game it was, Decker. I'm sorry. You'll have to do your own.
Now I'm going to have to do Google searches for time traveling transvestite nuns, and I'm not sure I'm going to like what I find.
So yeah, there's a lot. This is a huge franchise over in Japan.
Or I'm actually going to be visited by real time traveling transvestite nuns who want to know why I'm looking for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently they're still like releasing games. According to what I'm reading right now, though, the most recent game that came out was in 2011, and it's a let's see. It's an arcade. So if they're still playing that stuff for the arcade, then that means it's still really popular over there. So I guess, you know, there's like so many games, like, oh my god, there must be like over 30 something games here. But yeah, it's a shame that we didn't really get it as much. You know, there's also a handful of games that only came out in certain places but never came to America. Like, I think Terranigma is another example in which it came out in Japan and in Europe, but we never got it in America. And Don
Achtenberg is asking, which movie are you guys more looking forward to this year? Avengers Endgame or Godzilla King of the Monsters? And I have not been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so for me, it's Godzilla hands down.
I'm going to go with Endgame, because I have been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
So you're like, I want to see what happened on them. They're like, what is going on?
Exactly.
So if that green get bad guy's good, that purple guy's bad.
Yes, I want to see both.
Why did everyone turn into glitter?
Because they were all secretly Twilight vampires.
Lovely. We're gonna pull that picture up again, aren't we?
What if Godzilla is in Endgame?
Ooh. That would be a nice twist. The real Mullen says, sorry I'm a little late. I'm a little behind, but I got distracted that we're supposed to be getting a Metal Wolf Chaos this next year. Oh yeah, I've heard about that. That game that was exclusive in Japan for a long time, but then the guys over at Super Best Friends played. They did a Let's Play of it, and it was like this over-the-top, you know, like crazy, you know, kind of like Japanese game that has Americans, and there's like a bunch of like robots and stuff. So I did hear about that game. Oh my god, no. Scott Yoshihara says, creepy, I don't feel so good, fades away.
I shouldn't laugh at that.
Let's see. Lazarus Soul 82, what if Godzilla is the end game? Ooh. It's all a conspiracy, everybody. Everything leads to Godzilla.
Oh, speaking, Decker, real quick, how is the Twitter poll coming along? Did it finish?
I think it still has a few minutes on it. Let me take a look. See, 4 minutes left.
Okay, so
It's
let me
got
find
40
some.
votes, though, which is the most of any poll so far. And if I
cool.
do some funky math and just add it together, I can claim that we had the most votes of any Twitter polls this episode.
Cool. All right. So while Decker's doing that, I guess I can look over
I'll
for
just do this.
another one. Oh, this one will be a good one. So.
Dickie Dastardly.
Okay, so let's go over to some horror movie news. So we have
Yay!
one courtesy of Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson is very happy, will be very happy to be disgusting again. So Peter Jackson, mostly known for his Lord of the Rings epics, but he launched his career creating ultra-gory horror comedies that turn him into a cult legend. Jackson hasn't returned to the horror genre since 1996's The Frighteners, unless you want to count King Kong as horror, but that doesn't mean his gross-out days are done. The filmmaker is restoring his...
Do you remember that scene in Godzilla where that leech thing, that giant thing, just like clamps onto that guy's head and like slowly eats him head first, and he's there swinging his machete around? That's kind of horror.
Sure. I guess so.
Right.
Let's see. The filmmaker is restoring his early splatter films, which has inspired him to admit that he'd love to be disgusting again. Would we ever see a new Peter Jackson horror movie? Maybe. Jackson recently used his Weta Digital VFX studio to restore old World War I footage for the documentary They Shall Not Grow Old, and he decided to use the same tech on his early horror films such as Brain Dead, aka Dead Alive, and Bad Taste. I decided to go back to do this with my old films, he said in a new interview with THR, or The Hollywood Reporter. I've done some tests on Brain Dead where we took the 16mm negative and put it through our World War I restoration pipeline, and shit, it looks fantastic. The filmmaker added, I'm pretty keen to get back to there again. That's sort of my plan for now, to do a nice little box set. The early years, the naughty years.
Naughty?
Very naughty. All this talk, going back to his splatterpunk roots, prompted the interviewer to ask Jackson...
Epic Jason X9000 says, the next horror film by Peter Jackson since the Hobbit trilogy.
Didn't he have another movie that came out recently that not a lot of people talk about? It was something else, I think. I don't remember. But there was something else that he did recently. Let me know what it's called. I'd like to know. So... yeah, so apparently Peter Jackson wants to go back into doing gross horror movies again. So, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. You know, step away from his big budget stuff and go back to making indie horror.
Or big budget gore.
Ooh, that'd be nice. Oh, that's
gross out horror. I think that
boy.
there's a delineation there. Because they're like, oh, this is gross out horror. And they show the guy's face is melted blood everywhere. Like, oh, I'm like, that's not gross out horror. Gross out horror is that snot eating from Hellraiser.
Okay. Oh, Mortal Engines. That's what it's called. And yeah, that came out like a few weeks ago. I didn't even remember about that movie.
Right. That's the one by the it's based off of a book series that was like the woman who wrote it, she started off writing Harry Potter fan fiction, and she was kind of a controversial figure in the fandom, and then she moved over into writing her own original fiction, and it's just like,
I'm just thinking how to write controversial Harry Potter fan fictions, and then Harry pulls out his 9mm and says, "Fuck with me again, Ron. Fuck with me again."
I'm pretty sure there's fan fiction where that has happened. So.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, with all these kind of like post-apocalyptic movies, I would have thought that maybe something like this would have came out like 10 years ago when it was still kind of relevant. But
post-apocalypse is always relevant.
Yeah, I'm talking about like these YA books, to kind of like lure kids in and teenagers, like, Hunger Games and such. Like that kind of stuff is kind of like slowly dying out. Everybody's into cinematic universes. Can't they get with the times, yo? Never let me talk like that again. But yeah, I've heard that.
Anonymous Bastard says at Daker Shado, I have an idea for a movie Peter could make to relaunch his horror movie career. How does Doom sound? Peter Jackson's Doom. If that had like gore horror, like Gorehound, Peter Jackson Doom, Super Shotgun, Imp's mouth. Pink demon. Pink and guts all over the wall. And then it just stays there. Patricia, you're very quiet.
I'm speechless.
I'm just asking you to imagine all of the kinds of demons and death and blood and guts and guns and testosterone be just in fucking cups and you're fun for the whole family.
I'm waiting in line at the movie theaters right now for it to happen.
Yeah.
But I would like to see, Peter Jackson have another shot at this. I mean, especially with, these indie cult horror movies coming into the mainstream. Like we discussed about in the last episode of Live and Wired that Lloyd Kaufman sold the rights to The Toxic Avenger to Legendary Pictures. So they're going to have their own big budget remake. So if Peter Jackson can work on it, because I did hear that, he got some of his influences from Lloyd Kaufman when doing some of his films, then, I would be okay with it if he can gross it up a bit.
Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman can gross the fuck out of some stuff.
Yeah.
I could see Peter Jackson doing kind of a movie that's kind of a tribute to old 80s cheap slasher films. After Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street got really popular, and you had these third-rate cinema studios that wanted to jump on the bandwagon, but they had a quarter of the budget to work with, which, considering we're talking about Friday the 13th, that's saying something. So they just basically tried to make a really, really cheap movie on the fly. I could see Peter Jackson doing a horror film that's kind of like that.
Oh, also, speaking of horror, the Live and Wired Part 3 poll has concluded.
Excellent.
With 44 votes, the final results.
All right, so what do we got?
Okay, we've got 41% goes to The Happening 2. Why? And second and third place are actually kind of close. Second place goes to Titanic 2, double dipping. At 27%. 23% went to ET2 on hold, and only 9% went for the Upside 2 Upside Down.
Aww.
Though we got some comments. Simon David Fisher says, Flight of Navigator 2, GPS can't find satellite. DJ Quinn says, didn't they already make a Titanic 2 movie? Heck, I heard they're even making a Titanic 2 ship. And yeah, that's a thing.
Yes, both of those things are a thing.
So Titanic 2 was never James Cameron's Titanic 2. It was just like, hi, we're a low budget, no budget mockbuster rip-off artist studio. This is a popular movie. We're gonna say this is a sequel to it. There you go. We're just Titanic technically is public domain, the name, so we could just say, hey, which is Titanic 2? It's legal. Matthew Delgado. Matthew says, Happening 2 for sure. This one will consist of everybody just dead after the attack.
Yes.
And Brushfire Glow says, just why?
I know, we are just so evil, aren't we?
Beautiful.
Just beautiful. Okay.
Corey 2000 says, I hate the rapping toy fish in Titanic 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the rapping dog. That's what I know about.
There's several Titanic 2s, actually.
Yeah.
But I should have specified. But then again, there wasn't enough space when the Twitter says, what's this choice going to be? They give you a limited amount of space to say what it is. So we were sitting there for a while like, okay, that's a good idea, but I can't fit it. Decker, scanner, head explosion. Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Kirby, I got some news that we can take a look at. So this one we've been talking about for a while, and it's the new Carmen Sandiego series on Netflix.
Where is Carmen Sandiego?
So, why don't you read this one this time?
The first trailer for Netflix's Carmen Sandiego is out, and it introduces us to a very different version of the Master Thief. Acting as an origin story for Carmen, the series reimagines the mysterious villain as a misunderstood anti-hero. Gina Rodriguez stars in the new series as the voice of Carmen, and she's joined by Finn Wolfhard, who portrays Player, Carmen's chief accomplice and friend. Carmen Sandiego begins airing on January 18th. Carmen Sandiego was first introduced in an educational video game series as the antagonist that you had to chase around the world while learning about geography, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
Although she's the villain, the games have rarely portrayed her as a bad person. Instead, she's usually just playfully stealing valuables for the sport of it. However, her reasoning behind it has always changed, as Carmen has retold her backstory rather differently throughout the 2 decades of her games, books, comics, and cartoon. The Netflix series aims to change that by shifting into the past when Carmen was much younger and telling her origin story. Interestingly enough, the new trailer reveals that Carmen has never been the villain the video games lead players to believe. In actuality,
she steals shit.
Yeah, she does.
That's just not. They're not saying, "Oh, she's evil and cruel and kicks puppies." They're like, "Here's a thief. She stole something. Where is she?"
Yeah, she stole the Statue of Liberty. Go find her.
Yeah, and she's done that a couple of times.
Like too many.
Right, like she's got David Copperfield beat. In actuality, Carmen attended a secret academy as a teen to learn how to become a master criminal, but when she discovered that committing crimes can lead to people being hurt or killed, she gave up on that dream.
Really?
Oh man, this sounds so dumb. I gotta agree with Decker. This sounds dumb. It says she will become a thief of thieves who steals back from the criminals who once trained her so that she can stop the harm they cause innocent people. Okay. Netflix found great success in 2018 with another animated series that was based off of a beloved classic female character, She-Ra, and She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, which I do enjoy. Princesses of Power went on to become one of the most popular series on Netflix in 2018, so the streaming service probably hopes to recapture the same audience with Carmen Sandiego this year.
See, on the one hand, I'm like, okay, that has potential. On the other hand, the way they explain the story is like, what?
Yeah. Now, Crippy and I, alongside with various other people such as Rowdy C, we actually did do a Carmen Sandiego podcast about 2 years ago because I was planning on doing a retrospective of it. But then I did 3 themed months in a row, and I was so burned out that I pretty much put it on hold. And I will, eventually try to pick it up again because I actually did do a few videos and had interviewed both of the hosts from Carmen Sandiego. Whether you're interested in Greg Lee, who was the host of Where in the World, or Kevin Shinnick, who is the host of Where in Time, then yeah, I've talked to them both, so you can go check that out. And
right.
Let's talk briefly about what we did talk about in that podcast, about our thoughts on both of the game shows and the animated series.
Well, the thing that made the character kind of interesting was the mystery surrounding her, in that, we did know a little bit about her, but, a lot of her past was kind of an enigma. So, Carmen was just this glamorous criminal who traveled around the world and stole things just
through time.
Yeah, and through time, yeah.
Yeah.
Things just prove that she could. It was more about proving that she had the skills and the talent and the good luck to be able to pull these kinds of crimes off that no one else would even think about doing, much less could pull off. And so, giving her a backstory and giving her I don't know. I
decided to learn to be the best criminal I could be until I learned that being criminal was bad. Now I'm a criminal against the criminals.
Yeah, exactly. This just kind of sounds stupid. I'm sorry, but it does. Also, focusing...
Patrick Johnson says, yo, where Carmen at?
Your guess is as good as mine. The last time I heard, she was in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, God. Yeah, Corey 2000 says Carmen Sandiego has stolen Decker's hair. She could do that.
She could.
I'd be like, where in the world is my hair? And then Creepy comes in and is like, we're in time. I'm like, oh, fuck! I can't forget it back now.
It's back to the space warp again.
I'm gonna go through history books looking for my hair. It's like, who the fuck has my hair that shouldn't?
Wait, Julius Caesar, was he a bald guy before? I think so. He has my fucking hair.
Yeah, my thoughts.
Call Doc Brown. We're getting my hair back.
Yeah, exactly. With rockapella singing while we're driving through the DeLorean.
Damn it, Carmen.
Oh. But yeah, like just
Southern Yankees asking, did she steal Big Ben?
And I think she did at one point. I think she did steal Big Ben at one point in Carmen Sandiego. I think the Where in the World incarnation, that there was a stealing of Big Ben. I think that they I think one of the characters actually stole the internet. One of the henchmen, no, I'm not even joking. There was one episode in which one of her henchmen stole the internet.
right.
One of her henchmen stole the Milky Way galaxy.
I remember that one. There was also another one where one of her henchmen stole the tango. Like
Yes,
as a
the
dance,
actual dance.
the actual dance itself.
I think at some point we're going to have to admit there's a distinct possibility that Carmen is a demigod. She's like the niece of Loki, and she's just out fucking with people.
Yeah,
There was a point like in that episode where like just people randomly started doing the tango.
And I think in the Where in Time episode that she stole ambergrease from a whole bunch of whales so that they wouldn't get their electricity.
Oh, Jesus.
Where in Time had some weird plots to it.
Yeah, they did. And don't get me wrong, I understand that Where in Time was very limited with its budget, so they didn't have rockapella and they didn't have as much, people to portray any of the characters with the flashbacks and giving the clues. But yeah, some of their stuff was really weird.
Yeah.
Like stealing, what was it, like one was ambergrease, stealing trash cans or stealing the rats so that they wouldn't eat the trash cans from New York City or something. Another one was like stealing the concept of the circus from P.T. Barnum. But yeah, this is...
I'm pretty sure P.T. wasn't the first guy to make a circus.
Yeah, like,
right.
all these like Where in Time just had some really, really out there.
She's like, I'm not going to do anything to mess with the culture overall, but I'm just going to fuck your career in particular.
Yeah, pretty much so.
Right.
But I think that for a lot of people, that's kind of what makes it fun. It's like it's so out there that you have no idea how it happens.
Yeah, but
you
through
just
all of
go
that,
along.
Carmen was never depicted as bad. I mean, villain is really villain kind of has implications to it.
To be quite honest,
even
if you were to
antagonist, I mean, antagonist is kind of like the right term. She antagonizes the situation technically, but it's not out of vindictiveness.
No.
Yeah.
She just
To be quite fair, she was never really the main focus on any of the game shows. The only time in which she actually got some development was in the animated series, We're on Earth.
Oh God! Corey says Carmen Sandiego has stolen the Infinity Gauntlet.
She can do that.
For doing that, I could believe she would do it. Yeah.
She would do that in spades.
Yeah.
Like not even a question.
Put his arm out of frame and then get ready for some awesome shit. Pull it up, and it's just his hand. Like, oh.
Carmen Sandiego is wearing the Infinity Gauntlet, and she just has this smirk on her face, and then she vanishes. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Gone. She just.
Yeah, she can do that actually.
Yeah.
But the animated series.
The multiverse is Carmen Sandiego.
But yeah, like, oh wait, you wanted to say this. I'm sorry, Patricia. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. So I was just saying that the animated series is where she got at least enough development where it started to make sense. Mm-hmm. Like if you see her backstory, she grew up in an orphanage in San Diego, California, because clever, and also. She was actually working for Acme, and she was like their best student right before she eventually turned her ways into working for Vile, and stuff like that was actually really fascinating to me. And there were some episodes that really, build up the legacy of Carmen. In fact, the chief, when he was talking about,
worked for Vile, and I assume Vile is probably not the nicest people.
No, Vile
I mean, don't
Vile
judge
is
a
where all
book
the
by its
villains.
cover, but when your book's called 3 Ways to Kill Kittens,
Now, what it was is but basically like she took over she took over Vile, and then it was working for her, and that was when like she basically had like a set of rules. Like there were basically things that Vile was not allowed to do, and Carmen made sure that if you broke any of her rules, she would fuck you up.
Yeah, she would.
Like you don't think about Carmen Sandiego screwing you over, but she could do it. There was even an episode specifically where that happened.
Yeah, there was.
That was the thing, though, is that she wasn't, like she's the title character, but she was sparse in the focus on her. And when she did come to the forefront and we did learn things about her, it really held your attention, but she wasn't in the center spotlight all of the freaking time.
Yeah, it helped keep her mysterious, which is kind of the point.
Exactly.
She had this
the main the main focus was about the gumshoes. Like even with the animated series, you were the player and you were the one who were controlling the gumshoes to find out where Carmen was. In the game show, you were
super sleuth.
Yeah, you were a super sleuth, essentially trying to capture Carmen. So that was what the focus was. And I kind of like the idea of focusing more on her, but I have yet to. I mean, with this thing coming out in a couple of weeks, I'm sure we'll see where it goes from there. But we'll just
steals the lament configuration.
I think that might be something that Carmen would actually be like, yeah, you know what?
Pinhead comes out like, we have such sights to show you. And ships over to Carmen, and she's just like, yep. And Pinhead goes back to Pinhead. All his pins are gone.
I was going to say, and then Carmen steals hell. Yeah, like I said, the thing that made her interesting was she wasn't always in, the focus of the story. But when you did find out things about her, it made you curious to know more. Putting her as the central figure in a story robs, her of that, is what...
I'm still trying to figure out bust, waist, hip. Okay?
Yeah.
I've got my focus set, but it is a mystery to me, and I must solve it.
Pretty much so.
Where in the world is Decker Shadow?
And you know what? I actually, when looking at the trailer and I was listening to what I assume would probably be the theme song, it sounds okay. I just remember that the previous Carmen Sandiego incarnations had really catchy theme songs.
Yeah, everybody recognizes the rockapella version. There's the animated version that had the what was it, Ode to Joy? Or
I think so. It was a piece from Mozart that was part of the melody of the We're on Earth theme. And the We're in Time, it's fine. It's probably not. It's not as memorable as both of them. But yeah, this new one on Netflix. I heard the song that they were playing. I don't know if that's going to be the actual title song, but it's. I don't know. It seems okay, but I don't know, how it's going to compare to the others. But again, the show will be coming out in a couple of weeks, so we have yet to see. Oh yeah, that's right. One of the comments saying what about there was talks of a Carmen Sandiego movie. Yeah, there were 2 of them actually. One was going to star Jennifer Lopez during her height of popularity, and the other one would have starred Sandra Bullock. So yeah, there were 2 Carmen Sandiego movies that were in the works during the 2000s, but it never. It was canceled pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
I can't imagine either of them really as Carmen.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jennifer Lopez would be the closest because Carmen Sandiego is Hispanic.
The best thing for a Carmen Sandiego movie would actually be not really a known actress.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, somebody who maybe they would even reveal who the actress is. They'll just focus more on the gumshoes.
Yeah,
I agree. That would actually help.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it still want a decent actress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's usually when you're good, you get work, and when you get work, you get known. So it's
Motorcycle US gave us $2. Who says, "Could Waldo defeat and or avoid Carmen?" Damn. That's a good question.
That's one of the original like who would win
He could disappear
kind of
he
schoolyard
would blend in
arguments.
so well.
Waldo or Carmen.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who would
I
win?
mean, he's always looking for his fucking cane and his shoe and his hat. So, I mean, who's taking these and hiding them from him?
Carmen
I think
Sandiego.
Carmen's fucking with this guy. I think she likes him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So they got that scuffle going on, but it's real. I'm gonna write a fanfic tonight.
You're probably not the only one who's written this.
Okay, I'm gonna just look up and read fanfic. It's gonna be much easier.
Oh my god.
And then I can just bitch about the ones I don't like I usually do.
Sure. Oh my god. All right. I want to bring up one more bit of horror news right before we go into the YouTube
Brandon
news.
Kilgore mentions that Waldo had Wilma, so was Carmen single?
Oh, that's right. I forgot that Waldo had a chick.
Right.
So maybe that's why she has to be so coy about it.
Because she's jealous. She's a woman scorned.
It's one thing that she can't steal is his heart.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is Carmen. Honestly, I don't think that would be a bad idea necessarily.
Sure, I could see that.
Go ahead, Big Jason.
All right, I'm going to go into the horror news now. So, our talks of Carmen will be for another time. Okay, so we have a new trailer for an upcoming real-life black metal horror story called The Lords of Chaos. And it will be starring Rory Culkin, the pretty much younger brother of Macaulay and Kieran Culkin. So, Decker, I think, what was it? Decker or Creepy hasn't read in a while?
Decker, I think, hasn't read.
I've only read two things.
Okay, so go ahead. You can read this one.
Are we in the middle of a Culkinessance? How the hell did I pronounce that? Macaulay recently reprised his role as Kevin from Home Alone. Kieran was one of the most talked shows of 2018, Succession, and Rory stars in a black metal horror movie that debuted to strong reviews at Sundance, based on Michael Moynihan and Diedrich's. Oh fuck! What the hell do you pronounce that? Diedrich's book of the same name about the Norwegian black metal scene of the 80s, Lords of Chaos, stars Culkin as Euronymous, co-founder of the iconic band Mayhem. Good, a word I can pronounce. I won't reveal what happened in real life. That's what the book is for. And, Google. But for those who are familiar with the story, yes, Larg Vikernes is in the movie. Here's the official plot synopsis. A teenager's quest to launch Norwegian black metal in Oslo in the 1980s results in a violent outcome. Lords of Chaos tells the true story of true Norwegian black metal and its most notorious practitioners, a group of young men with a flair for publicity, church burning, and murder. Mayhem. Directed by Jonas Aurklund and co-written by Aurklund and Dennis Magnusson, Lords of Chaos, which also stars Emery Cohen, Sky Ferreira, Anthony De La Torre, Walter Skarsgård, and Jack Kilmer, is available in theaters on February 8th and on demand on February 22nd.
Great. So yeah, we're going to be getting a movie based off of Lords of Chaos. So I don't really know too much about the band since they're Norwegian. So I'm sure for our Norway listeners and watchers, you'll probably tell us more about them.
Lazarus Soul 82 is like, Lords of Chaos! Yeah, the most metal band name ever! Oh, fuck off. Don Achtenberg says, no, that was Timmy and the Lords of the Underworld.
Oh, okay. Yeah, wrong. And Brandon Kilgore asked, didn't the Lords of Chaos get arrested for murdering rare zoo animals? I have no idea.
Quite possibly. I don't know, but they definitely mentioned murder and church burning in there, and I'm pretty sure if they're talking about a true story,
it probably happened.
Yeah, there's a few things involving dead people. Well, maybe not people. Maybe they murdered just the animals. I hope. Well, I mean, I don't hope, but given a choice between rare emu or this random guy over here, I'll say, what, the emu is like a giant chicken.
Yes, a rare albino tiger, maybe a dodo. Just kill them all, because why not? But yeah, I've never heard of these guys personally, so you know the fact that they're going to be having a movie based off of them should be interesting.
It'll probably kind of make some of their music kind of popular, which might not be the best results. But oh well.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
It's been almost 40 years, so. Is it long enough to say, okay, people generally, the little boost this music's going to get isn't going to be enough to give these guys a career again?
All right. So now that we have that finished, let's go over to our YouTube news, our favorite. But let's go over to some light stuff though, so you know we can get some happiness going. So Jack Black is launching a new YouTube channel, mostly dedicated to gaming.
So he got PewDiePie's chair and did PewDiePie's meme in it. Got it.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, Creepy, it's your turn.
Okay.
Epic Jason X9000 says, YouTube, the crappiest of news.
Yeah.
Jack Black is heading to YouTube and wants to be bigger than Ninja and PewDiePie. The comedian turned actor announced his arrival on the platform earlier this week. His channel, Gablinski Games, will have games, food, and life, according to a description under the video. While Black is the focus of the video, it's his son who will be taking on the role as director and editor, something the comedian makes abundantly clear in a comment. I just want to clarify that there is no production behind this, Black wrote. This is all my son. He's holding me hostage, and I can't be Tracer.
Oh, I get it, from Overwatch.
So that's 2 memes so far. We're doing good here.
Yep.
Help, I think. Black's son being involved may help explain certain aspects of the video, including references to multiple inside jokes PewDiePie fans would understand, such as the chair Black is sitting on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Can you do this?
It also might help explain why the aesthetic of Black's channel seems ripped right off of 2014, a peak of YouTube gaming culture. For example, Black's banner on his channel is Sakurai Kirby, a meme within the gaming community that alludes to a Google search for who created Kirby. The current plan is to upload a new video every week, according to Black's welcome message, which seems like it would be edited and produced by his son. Black is in no way the first celebrity to turn to YouTube as a creative outlet either. Will Smith, Victoria Beckham, and Reese Witherspoon all have successful YouTube channels that are separate from their Hollywood careers.
Yeah,
but I just remember when Rewind 2018 popped up and Will Smith was the first one there, everyone's comment is always, of course, Will Smith, my favorite YouTuber.
Yeah, and to be fair, I doubt that Will Smith is going to be doing like a let's play of Independence Day for the PlayStation or anything like that. Although that would be pretty hilarious.
That's hot. That's hot.
Still, celebrities on YouTube are a bit of a touchy subject within the creator community, with many seeing the arrival of A-listers as a sign of digital gentrification within the YouTube culture. But people are willing to give Black a chance considering his apparent knowledge of the platform's culture. I'll give him a pass, one person on Reddit wrote. Reddit, the most reliable thing on the internet. Unlike other celebrities, it already feels like he's in this weird zone between mainstream and indie stuff.
That's very fair. It's Jack Black.
Yeah, it is Jack Black, and he is, kind of like in that mixture between that because he is doing another, Tenacious D movie, and, he's been known for, voicing in a handful of video games, including that one video game.
Brutal Legend.
Yeah, Brutal Legend, exactly.
Oh, well, at least next YouTube Rewind, YouTube can use an actual gamer from their platform instead of poaching Ninja from Twitch. Alluding to YouTube Rewind, which has become the most disliked video on the platform. If Black sticks to the schedule, his first official video will be uploaded December 28th. His channel has just over 330,000 subscribers at the time of this writing.
Yeah, and he's already released 2 videos as of the making of this video, and I think that he has gained a lot more subscribers since then. So yeah, Jack Black as a
if he actually puts in the time, I'm sure he's going to do more than fine on YouTube.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's the things like, one of the Pauls opened a Twitch channel and they got so many millions of followers like day one without ever live streaming anything. It's like, that's great, but is anyone actually? Are they going to actually get any view time? Are they actually going to put any time into this?
Yeah.
That's always kind of the question.
Exactly. Yeah, it also kind of reminds me of voice actors Nolan North and Troy Baker also have their own little Let's Play series in which they play off retro video games as well.
Nicole's like, Decker looks so annoyed. It's like, yeah, that 330,000 subscribers and like you barely two videos. You got 3. That's great, Jack. That's great. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you.
Yes, he is very happy for him.
I wonder if Jack Black will be calling Decker up at 3 a.m. and saying, Decker Shado, I have... and then you hear him doing the math. Such and such many more subscribers than you right now.
Hey, Decker, just hit past 500,000. I'm thinking about putting out my third video next week.
Oh my god. All right. Now let's deal more into the other stuff. So, okay.
Scott Yoshihara says it's already at 2 mil. There's an actual channel.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Right? But I'm okay. Oh, like Jack Black. I'm gonna find out. How many.
Yes, you do that. I already have the next. I already have the next one.
Jablinski Games, 2.8 million. 2,882,392 subscribers with 3 videos. 3 videos.
Yes, 3 videos.
How many views are you getting on your videos there, Jablinski? Huh? Oh, 8.6 million, 7.9 billion, 3.8 million on his newest one. Okay, so he's definitely getting a good percentage of his subscribers to view them.
Yeah, I think Decker's broken.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I like when Paul Brothers does something really shitty. All of YouTube is blank.
Oh yeah, we're actually going to be reading about that right now. So, YouTube stars promoting gambling to kids. Now they have to answer to their peers. The mystery brand scandal explained. Popular YouTubers like Jay Paul and Brian Ricegum Lay promoted a shady gambling website to their millions of subscribers, many of whom are children. And now they're in the middle of a debate about the ethics and responsibilities that come with legions of highly impressionable superfans.
Well, I mean, I didn't read this article, but I did see a lot on this particular thing, and it's not just them. There were actually quite a few YouTubers running the gambit of popularity. But it's pretty much they were approached by this company to run to run a brand deal video, pretty much. This is with YouTube saying, you know what, fuck you and your ad revenue. This is how a lot of YouTubers make their money, even the big ones, because the ad revenue really doesn't do too much. So if you're the kind of person to say, hey, a sponsored video sounds like a great way to make a lot of money, I think PewDiePie actually mentioned that he was offered by some brands like upwards of $100,000 for some brand videos that he flat out refused because they looked kind of shady. And this is one there. It's like, well, give me that money, yes. And yeah, it effectively is gambling. And yeah, it's also there's a lot of things where if you do the math on what they're saying, things actually have a chance for. It doesn't make sense. Like they say this $15 box has this percentage chance of getting like a car. And if you do the math and all the things and all the percentages, in order for that box to run a profit for the company, it would have to cost something like $8,000 a box. Not $15.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, according to like that video that Jake Paul did post, it says, I spent $5,000 on mystery boxes and you will not believe what I got. Insane. The difference is that video is an ad which Paul disclosed in the video description for Mystery Brand, a website which users pay different amounts of money, anywhere from a few bucks to $299 to open digital boxes. There are Hypebeast boxes, gaming boxes, boxes that only contain different types of watches, and holiday-themed boxes, which might be filled with a 27-inch Mac, a Chanel purse, off-white sneakers, or a Supreme jacket. Most likely, though, you will end up either with a fidget spinner, or in the case of a Chanel box, which costs $99 to open, a vial of Chanel nail polish, retail price at $28. A Daily Beast report on Wednesday suggests that some of these boxes claim to include items like Lamborghini sports cars, Ferraris, and the most expensive Los Angeles realty at $215 million, which is actually
I'm buying that box. I'm buying that box right now. Oh God, I'm going to win me a house in LA.
I am going to buy one. I need a car.
In a mystery box.
Which is actually a photo of a Bel Air mansion.
Loot boxes in video games anymore, so they're just trying to squeeze in wherever they can fit. Fuck it, get the YouTubers.
Yes. So, oh my God. Although these items no longer appear to be available in any of the boxes currently on the site.
Padak says, Decker, I know you only hawk brands when you care about the brand. Like those man cans. Would you ever go back to that? And the man cans was the thing I was doing. I was doing the unboxings. That was just something I was personally buying off of the Iraq Veteran 8888 channel. And yeah, it was an interesting little thing. But of course, then I got more adult responsibilities and bills, and yeah, they're a bit expensive, so I stopped buying. So would I go back to that? Probably not. I mean, they were okay. They had some pretty good stuff in them. But they are pretty damn pricey, which is one reason why they have some pretty damn good stuff in them. When you're paying $100 for a box, yeah, it's got some nice stuff in it. But it also cost the freaking $100. But that wasn't a brand deal or anything. It was just something I was doing. That was on the gaming channel, creepy. I kept that off the main channel.
Right.
I did. I didn't even mention it until now. Dang it.
All right. Well, let me just finish this up. So, even on the surface level, it's pretty clear that Mystery Brand is shady. No, really? And that, along with the fact that many of the creators are promoting it, have an audience largely made up of children, and why many YouTubers have formed a chorus of criticism against Paul, Ricegum, and others. According to its terms and conditions, Mystery Brand seems to be operated out of Poland. These terms are interpreted and are subject to the jurisdiction to the laws of Poland, and use the website is strictly prohibited for persons under 13 or persons not reached with the age of the majority. It also says that
it fits with YouTube's terms of service there, that you're not supposed to use the website until you're at least 13.
Correct.
According to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, it also says that under the age of majority may not be eligible to receive the prizes that they have won. Elsewhere, however, it seems that any user may not receive the items they won, and according to the report, that's exactly what happened. Multiple Reddit threads devoted to demystifying Mystery Brand shows customers claiming that products have taken months to ship. If they ever do it at all, those tracking numbers don't work, and they are forced to pay upwards of $40 for shipping.
Oh, God. And then, of course, there's the videos of the YouTubers who won, quote unquote. It's like, hi, guys, it's been 2 to 3 days. It's been... Okay, I can't remember. But the point is, it's here.
Oh, my God.
Patrick Johnson says, what's in the fucking box? Matt TD7 says, did you guys know Jake Paul is in the chat? If Jake Paul were watching this, I'd be like, damn, you got a lot more free time than I thought.
Yes. Anyway, let's continue. YouTuber believes that creators should be transparent with their audiences if their content includes paid promotion of any kind. Our policies make it clear that YouTube creators are responsible for ensuring their content complies with local laws, regulations, and YouTube community guidelines. If consent is found to violate these policies, we take action to ensure the integrity of our platform, which can include removing content.
Unless it's from one of the Paul brothers, because, yeah, it's just a corpse in the woods. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. It's unclear whether or not the Federal Trade Commission, which sets regulations for sponsored content and advertising, is concerned with YouTubers promoting gambling websites to minors. An inquiry from Vox to the FTC came back with an automatic reply that the organization was closed due to the partial government shutdown. Rice Gum, for his part, did his apology in a video after YouTube's most subscribed star PewDiePie and Ethan Klein of H3H3 Productions called him out in their videos converting the drama, although not before complaining that other YouTubers with largely young followings, the channel Reaction Zoom, Zayn Hijazi, and Guava Juice is among them, also promoted Mystery Brand within the last few months. The YouTubers criticizing these channels' promotion of Mystery Brand has focused both on scamminess of the website itself, as well as the responsibility that comes with having millions of young followers. Both topics have been lightning rods in YouTube drama over the past few years. PewDiePie in particular has been criticized for amplifying anti-Semitic rhetoric for his own young audience, which I did hear about that.
Oh yeah, he's been criticized for that plenty. I can't deny that.
Yes, which is why he makes more money by being a hat salesman than being a YouTuber. With fewer ad dollars floating around YouTube, some creators have turned to shadier dealings, like in the case of the recent controversy surrounding beauty bloggers being paid by cosmetics companies to post negative reviews about their rival brand's products. And it is nothing compared to the debate on what duty the biggest YouTuber in the...
You know, now every time I say, you know what, I've actually had fun in Fallout 76, people tell me, what, are you being paid by Bethesda? Now someone's going to go to my review of The Predator and be like, what, are you getting paid by... Okay, who isn't Fox?
Disney.
You're getting paid by... Wait, no, okay.
Oh, no. Okay, I don't know, Universal.
Okay, you're getting paid by Universal, huh?
Yeah. We want you to talk positively about Jurassic Park, but we want you to slam all over Predator. There you go.
Yeah. I hate to do this, but we're coming up on the 3 hour.
Yeah. I'm just gonna wrap this up, but yeah, you pretty much know the gist. Okay, I want to bring up one more article because, my God, I really want you guys. I want to actually really talk about this because we've been going through a lot lately with what's been going on with YouTube with all the stupid copyright claims, and according to what I've seen so far, it seems that YouTube has become a lot worse in terms of copyright. So let's discuss about that bit of news to kind of close things off. Why copyright will be the biggest issue for YouTube in 2019.
I feel good about my job.
Yeah. So, why don't you read this off, Decker?
2018 was a difficult year for YouTube internally, with misbehavior by its creators, concerns about demonetization, and struggles to balance the YouTube business and YouTube community. However, throughout the latter half of the year, YouTube has also been engaged in a quiet war with the European Union over the copyright directive, and the directive will have important consequences for YouTube users in the EU and abroad in the coming year. The platform's most popular content, memes, film reviews, and video game playthroughs are jeopardized by new legislation that YouTube has suggested will force the site to create an upload filter that will block content with potential copyright violations. The copyright directive is the EU's effort to go away.
No, I don't want to subscribe.
Effort to modernize copyright laws because they haven't been modernized enough. The DMCA that really, really fucked with a lot of things wasn't modern enough. We got to get even more modern, and modern means fuck you. Prevent piracy, which is debatable at best, and ensure that original creators are paid for what they produce, which is a joke and a half. This has been a particular problem in the music industry. As musician Paul McCartney mentions in a letter of support for the copyright directive, there is a value gap in which media platform companies are able to profit from copyrighted material without adequately compensating the artists. But, I mean, if you want to look at the history of the music industry with labels and how much a radio station plays you for a few million plays to a song, yeah, artists have been getting fucked for a long time on that, and the internet hasn't been a catalyst for getting them less money. At least, logically speaking. Concerns about fair pay on the internet age is not new for music artists, and we're behind Taylor Swift's hesitation with Spotify. Spotify, they're just a nobody, right? and Beyonce and Jay-Z's development of Tidal. Many European networks, studios, and publishers have supported the copyright directive in order to fix this value gap. Okay. The European Union solution approved by the Parliament in September and to be put into final vote in the spring of 2019 assuages the concerns of the original content creators by holding media platform companies like YouTube liable for copyrighted content codified in Article 13. It is this provision that has encouraged a rare alliance between the YouTube Corporation and its creator community. I like how that alliance is rare. YouTube has argued that it already had its means of detecting and compensating original creators for their work. Content ID and Copyright Match tool. These tools help original creators detect copyrighted content and then report violations to YouTube, which will then remove the offended video. However, in 90% of cases of copyright use on the platform, CBO Robert Kinsel states that the original content producers opt against removing the video and instead request the video ad revenue should be shared with them. Content ID has distributed over 2.5 billion euros to copyright holders. And I think that's a bit of a misnomer. I think it's safe to say that 2.5 billion euros have been distributed through Content ID, but I can tell you, the motherfuckers getting it through Content ID on my videos, they don't have the right to legally. It's just how it's set up, so fuck me. They can take my money. The ex post facto copyright review of YouTube videos is what Article 13 will change. With Article 13, YouTube will have to deploy ex ante measures to avoid liability, which will mean the introduction of algorithmic filtering. More algorithmic filtering. Never mind that little detail. YouTube material that might use other copyrighted material will simply be denied from being uploaded to the site. The idea of an upload filter has incensed the YouTube community, rightly concerned with the overbroad results of these algorithms. This is not helped by the fact that while establishing company liability for copyright material, the directive makes no move to streamline copyright laws between EU member states and the American Fair Use Act. The Fair Use Act protects works that use copyrighted material for transformative purposes, notably parody and criticism. Hey, that's the gray area I live in! And has served as a basis for a lot of content that has made YouTube famous, such as video game playthroughs, video essays, and film reviews, reaction video... No, those can go. And memes. Although EU legislators have argued Article 13 will continue to make exceptions for fair use, YouTube has argued that their algorithms lack the nuance to discriminate between fair use copyright and copyright infringement. You don't say! Oh, yeah, I've noticed that. I've noticed that a lot. I know. Oh. And Michael Wolf says, oh, God, not more algorithms. YouTube is confused enough already. But yeah, it's like from that article, it would seem that I'd not be able to upload at all. Whereas before, the idea I thought was supposed to be that I could upload, but my videos would be just completely blocked in Europe because Article 13 and when you get zero tolerance, there's literally nothing you tolerate. So, yay.
Yay. All right. Well, yeah, that's enough, everybody.
Horror fan on YouTube says, I hate being in Europe. Thank you, Article 13. And another thing is, it's not like there aren't going to be... I mean, it could open the door for more YouTube competitors that semi-exist now to get a little bit of a boost, but unless they can pull it all together, it usually doesn't work out too well. I mean, there was VidMe. VidMe was nice, and then they couldn't pull it all together, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, right. That's really sucked.
There's Dailymotion, but Dailymotion has always been even more of a pain in the ass, and it's in France, so it's definitely in Europe, so it's not going to avoid this little snag.
And then there's Vimeo, which, it's not really...
It costs money to upload to.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't have ads playing on it. Which I guess right now it's about the same as YouTube then.
Pick your poison.
Except no one goes there. Like, I want to relax tonight. I'm going to turn on Vimeo. Now, when YouTube dies, it's Netflix.
Yeah, pretty, very similar to how the animation industry is going to Netflix because they're so sick and tired of Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and the Disney XD for like limiting their shows and focusing a lot more on the popular ones. They're all going to Netflix.
Puddock says that Newgrounds is having a resurgence now that Tumblr, or rather their owners, Verizon, have banned porn.
Yeah, we did talk about that when we were briefly talking about Tumblr.
Yeah, so it's like there are sites that would pop up. I'd keep going. I'd keep doing this. I got the Patreon, but I got it's just I'm finally at a point where it's like I've been trying to reach this point for 7 years. I would hoped I would reach it in like 5 months. I didn't, but finally making about as much as I was at Kroger. So I'm just hoping to keep it all together, keep it growing, be able to branch out to more things. All those little ideas I have for I'd like to make this game, I'd like to make this board game, I'd like to make this card game. I'd like to make a lot of games. I'd like to make this movie. I'd like to make this story. I'd like to make this visual novel with lots and lots of anime babes.
Like you do.
So, yeah. It's just Article 13 is like a big, hi, here's a giant monkey wrench from half the world. Oh. Great.
Anyway.
But it's like the option is either cut out the content of the vast majority of YouTubers or cut out Europe. Which is less painful to Google? That's a question. No one ever thinks about the cut out Europe option.
Yeah.
Which is still not a good one. The best option is come time for that vote on Article 13, they're like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
But Paul McCartney thinks it's a good idea. It's like, well, Paul McCartney, no offense, you're not exactly in my position here.
Yeah, true.
And I'm pretty sure even if someone downloads the shit out of your music, you'll still be okay.
All right. Well, I don't think that. I mean, there are a few articles that we could have covered, but I think that we've already reached our limit. So, yeah, I think we can start doing our usual plugs and self promotions. So, yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. Now, like I said, I finished the script for the RoboCop 3 review. I set up my camera. I was about to film. I powdered my nose because I've got these blemishes right here. It's like here and here. It's a little redder, so I was like, nah. So I got a little powder. I powdered my nose to look all nice for the camera. And then the dogs wouldn't stop going off and Dutch pissed all over the floor. So, okay, I didn't film today. So, yeah. I'm going to try and film tomorrow. And still trying to see about putting a little more content on the gaming channel. Started doing some EDF5 again. Did that live with Creepy the other day.
No, nice.
And we were going to team up with 1237844 Games, but things didn't quite line up as well as we'd hoped, and ended up just being me and Creepy. But we still had fun, I think. I don't know. I had fun. I also killed him a few times, accidentally.
Yeah.
I resurrected him after. It's okay.
I died a few times without Decker's help. That happened too.
And I thought I killed you that one time just because your name kind of lined up with my weapon attack, and then you immediately died.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you were actually out of range at the time. One might think, well, if his name lined up with your weapon attack, why did you just keep aiming that way instead of turn away? But let's not get into little details like that here. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to play again. There was thoughts about, like, when it was trying to be scheduled before, there was like, Saturday maybe. And then I'm thinking, wait, that's today. And I know I'm already like, and I got to clean the dishes and all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you noticed, my house is a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, well, we got the cleanup run through at the start of the show, and I was sitting here thinking to myself, the only thing this is missing is some Benny Hill sketch music.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt T7 is asking, guys want to do any VR videos at all? I still got more Borderlands 2 VR to play through, but Creepy doesn't have any VR headset as far as I am aware.
No, I do not.
So, I mean, I want to play more VR. I'd really like to get Beat Saber, but it's cost $30 on PlayStation VR, and I'm like, sure.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
Creepy.
I've still got a certain anniversary to review to do. Sorry about the delay on that. A combination of, like I got over my cold, but my throat is still, I don't think I sound 100%. I still sound a little stopped up. But I've been trying to get over that, and there's also been a little bit of a technical issue on Yama, the voice actor for Chibi Thulu, his end. But we should be getting that out within the next few days. And Patricia, your turn.
All right, then. Well, I recently posted up a couple of stuff. My Christmas video, which is discussing about why Hey Arnold's Christmas special is still beloved by many people. I recently posted up a new episode of my podcast where I had Vanessa Coffey, who was the executive producer of the 3 original Nicktoons and Rocko's Modern Life. That was a lot of fun. She was really nice. I've been wanting to get a hold of her for like 6 years, and the wait was worth it. And I'm debating on whether or what my next videos should be, but I'm thinking that it's probably either going to be maybe my video on Cyber 6 or possibly something else, but I still haven't decided yet. And still doing Dream Machine, which is the DreamWorks podcast. The next episode will be coming up really soon, where we'll be discussing about Curse of the Were-Rabbit. And that's pretty much all I have to share for now. So I hope to see you guys there.
Awesome.
Also got a little question from Sean Haynes saying, how close is everyone to the YouTube characters they portray to their real life? And I would like to say that it's the same, though maybe I'm a little bit more boisterous on camera. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm more or less the same, even though technically, if you were to see my live action stuff, I actually have 2 characters. One who's very analytical, and the other one who's kind of like very very kind of like a little bit more lighthearted and a lot more like energetic. But for the most part, I just play mostly myself. I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah, same here. I'm just, even in real life, people have commented over the years that I have a very dry sense of humor. I tend to be, less loud, more snarky. But there are moments when like in my videos, there are moments where I will get really, really loud at the same time. Decker has a few stories, I think, to tell on that.
I mean, we've had our back and forth here on Live and Wired. You see, this is just regular conversations going on between us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing that I want to actually promote, because for Creepy, that little project that we've been talking about. Oh, go ahead.
Michael Wolf says, so Decker normally screams in his parked car, just not as boisterously.
Yeah.
Sure. If someone cuts me off.
Anyway. What were you saying?
Yeah, that project that I was helping you with, Creepy, for editing a certain audio play.
Right.
I may hopefully get it out by this coming month.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So yeah, that should be coming, and who knows? Maybe maybe we should help kind of like promote it in honor of finally getting to that after 5+ years.
Very true.
All right, but that's all I have to say.
Okay. Well.
Okay, so I guess that would be it for Live and Wired episode 28, Revenge of the Sequel, Part 2. Thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shado.
I've been that long-haired creepy guy.
And I've been Patricia.
And remember, you must stop selling loot boxes. How many times must we tell you?
Good night, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Good night.